uwager.lv, sportsbook, and casino. Sign up today at uwager.lv, the premier online sportsbook, taking wagers since 1998. The most player-friendly lines, weekly juice specials, and a true dime line in MLB. Unique casino platforms with thousands of games. Play poker, high stakes, low stakes, or tournament play. uwager.lv, what we offer. Free same-day payouts. Customer service and wagering support, 24/7, year-round. Free monthly rebates on your action and daily casino rebates. Contests, free bets, best bonuses, and giveaways. Generous referral program. Get an 80% free play bonus on your first deposit, up to $1,000. Sign up today, and use promo code SPORTSWEB. Remember, you can't win if you don't play.
going on, guys? Welcome back to another edition of the evolution of Sports Talk Television here on a special Friday night edition. It's the Sports Web. I'm your host, Peter Blake, giving you something to think about. And how do we start off this show, as it has been a busy day in Bucs Nation. Bucs fans, I know you're ready to get on the phone lines and talk about your favorite team and, of course, around the NFL. Bring your passion, bring your excitement. Just don't bring any nonsense. On tonight's show, we'll have my co-host, Mr. Harry the Greek, professional handicapper extraordinaire of 1252 Chicago Sports, talking about not only some Bucs news of the day, but his Chicago Bears. Yes, they did. Hold on. Made a big trade today as they traded with the Carolina Panthers, going from 1 to 9. So we'll get his thoughts on that. How will that affect the Buccaneers? We'll definitely dive into that. What have the Bucs done? This is the news, the latest news here from Greg Auman of Fox Sports. The Bucs have restructured contracts with veterans Vita Vea, Carlton Davis, Ryan Jensen, and Chris Godwin to create $44 million in 2023 cap space. I told you, all was not lost. Now, do they have as much as the Bears? Of course not. They don't. They still have some work to do. This from Pewter Report here. The combination of these moves saves the Bucs $44 million in cap space for 2023, combined with the cuts of running back Leonard Fournette and tight end Cameron Brate. The team should now be in compliance with the salary cap. Of course, they have to be under that by Wednesday at 4 o'clock. That's the start of the new league year. Of course, the tampering period would start on Monday, where teams can, basically talk to their respected free agents around the league. Other free agents, not theirs, but others. Expect some more moves in the coming days to create additional space so Tampa Bay can begin re-signing some of those impending free agents while also courting external options as well. Also, want to put this out there to start the show, and then we'll get out to Harry in a moment. Tom Brady is not going to Miami. Did you hear me? Because the Dolphins decided to pick up his fifth-year option today. They're going to go with him, of course, as we said here. So Tom Brady's not going to Miami. Stop with the nonsense, as the media will put out this narrative that, he wanted to go to somebody else. That's the reason why he retired in the first place. I still believe what Jeff Darlington said. The only team that was in the running for Brady's services is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. With that being said, let me go out to these comments, and then we'll get out to my co-host here. Mr. Roger Shoe says bear down. You know what? He's waving his hand. So let's go out to him. Here we go. The handicapper professional himself, extraordinaire of 1252 Chicago Sports right now, Mr. Harry the Greek. Welcome to the Evolution. A big day for your team. Let's start out there because it's the number 1 overall pick in the 2023 NFL Draft. And in return, with trading with the Carolina Panthers, here's what you get. Pick number 9, pick number 61, a first-round pick in 2024, a second-round pick in 2025, and your new starting wide receiver now with the Chicago Bears to join Darnell Mooney and Chase Claypool, Mr. DJ Moore, with 21 touchdowns in 2 years. Your thoughts? You have to be ecstatic about it. Welcome to the Evolution.
I think it's fantastic what they were actually able to do to get those picks, and you know what, to get DJ Moore. With that being said, I think they could have been a smidge smarter and just dropped to either 2 or 4. I thought maybe best case scenario, they go to Houston, Indianapolis, and then back to Carolina. That's what I was preaching about. Or go to number 4. You get a couple of draft picks, you get DeForest Buckner, and then you make the trade with Carolina. But Carolina wanted that number 1 pick, man, and they covet the kid from Ohio State. This isn't a DJ. Listen, This is not Anthony Richardson's going number 1. Okay,
You don't think
Pete?
so? No
No,
Anthony Richardson or Bryce Young, because now the
no.
rumor is there's
It's
a couple. Listen, there's a couple rumors out there. There's a couple prevailing thoughts, and you don't know because again, you're out from a month. The draft is in late April here. You could go with Anthony Richardson, which was a boom or bust. We talked about it. A lot of people were excited about the measurables and everything like that. You got Bryce Young, who was going to be the number 1 overall pick, and then C.J. Stroud, which is the latest.
CJ's the best quarterback in this draft.
Okay, tell me why.
He's bigger, stronger, taller, faster. Not quite faster. He's more accurate, in my opinion. The best upside in football isn't Anthony Richardson. It's the kid out of Kentucky, in my opinion.
Right.
I mean, he's relatively raw. Reminds me a little bit of almost a Jay Cutler type of quarterback. I think he does need a little bit of time to grow. Anthony Richardson, I'm sorry, guys. If he goes in the top 10, it's a travesty. It's someone's really reaching to get this kid.
Well, and I think you're going to owe me a steak because he's definitely going to go in that.
No, you said number 1.
No, I said in the top 10. I said either the top 10. If he goes top 10, you're going to owe me a steak. You ready to pay me?
Oh, sure, Pete. You're gonna wait a minute. Well, you want me to take only the 1 away that you owe me the other 5 for?
Oh, whatever. Other 5. I got.
Let's start with last year's draft or the year before. What was it?
5.
Hold on.
Other 5. Yes.
Hold on. You remember who was San Francisco? Who was San Francisco going to take as a quarterback?
Supposed to take Mac Jones, but they didn't.
Supposed to, shoulda,
Who,
coulda,
by
woulda.
the way, how many games has he started, by the way, for the 49ers?
Yeah, but it doesn't make a difference.
Well,
Where did Mac Jones go?
Well, he went to the New England Patriots.
Listen, you almost remind me of Max Kellerman. Listen, almost only counts in horseshoes, hand grenades, and follow me, shit fights.
You know
That's what almost counts in.
I will take Max Kellerman all day long, and I will raise you this.
This guy sucks.
No, listen, but going back to the Bears, I think they did very well. DJ Moore is going to fill in, and he's going to be either the number 1 or the number 2 wide receiver in that system. You pair it up with a Darnell Mooney, and then you also have Cole Kmet, which is one of the better tight ends. Let me go ahead and repeat it. Fat Mike, if you're watching, one of the better tight ends in football, okay? Just to let you know. Now, with all that money, they can fix their offensive line and draft all those defensive players.
And how it affects the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, of course, is now you don't have to deal with that because DJ Moore has killed the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the past couple of years. So
what do you think of DJ Moore?
I love DJ Moore. I think it's a great pickup. I'll tell you what, let's go out to the phone lines. Hopefully this is somebody, not a telemarketer. Welcome to the Evolution. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
I know Harry pretty well.
Okay.
From Chicago.
All right, Nick.
Nick, my brother. Nick, how are you, man?
Guys, it was still a Bucs show, but it is the Sports Web over-under, so we're going to definitely talk about this first-round pick. But go ahead, Nick. Tell me, give me your thoughts here on the Chicago Bears in this big-time trade today.
Well, a lot of people are saying that the Bears fleeced the Panthers. I'm not under the same feeling. I think it was a great trade. I think we got a great
I agree.
number 1 receiver through the trade, and we got a little bit of security, and we got some assets to move up if they decide they want to go up and grab somebody else. They'll also be able to do that. They have some options.
Tell you what, Nick, hold on a second. Let me put you on hold. We'll come back to you in a moment. Steve from San Antonio, stand by. We're gonna finish up with Nick, and then we'll come out to you. Okay.
All right, brother.
Stand by. All right, Nick, go ahead. We got calls tonight up the.
But Nick, I gotta say, Nick, I love that. I love you're thinking that they might actually move back up. I'm gonna tell you right now, they're gonna use that number 9 pick, Nick, and I think they're gonna get the kid from Texas A&M, the big edge rusher, personally. After that, you're correct. Then you can move back up. But I honestly think they're going to even move back down out of the second round because they still have a second-round pick. They'll pick up another draft pick this year and possibly one next year just to move back into the third round. I think it was a really, really good idea.
Tell you what you're hoping for. I'll tell you what you're hoping for. A quarterback on the board. Because if Richardson is still on the board or Will Levis, if he's still on the board, you want a team that's going to trade up there and desperate. You could definitely trade back and pick up another number 1 pick next year and possibly pick up a second-round pick this year.
Very similar to what the Bears had to give up when they had to go get Justin Fields when they moved. You remember that, Nick, about 10 or 12 spots?
Yeah, definitely. Like the best part about this whole thing is there's Ryan Poles and not Ryan Pace there anymore. So you could guarantee we're going to have
Good point.
pockets full of draft picks, and we're going to have options to do things if we need to do things. And that's the huge difference here.
Who do you want at number 9 at this point?
I think I'm with Harry. I really like that edge from Texas.
From Texas A&M.
Okay.
Yep.
How about Nolan Smith from Georgia? That's a possibility there. Ran 4.39
Okay.
in the 40. There's another possibility. And also an offensive tackle if you don't address that in free agency. Orlando Brown Jr. is out there in free agency. I've told Harry that may be the number one position you go for. But if you pass on it, because I really think that free agency is the biggest indicator when you're going into that draft. If you address those needs in that process, then, less you have to draft. But would you go for an offensive tackle if you don't address that in free agency?
Yeah, I think they're going to address those, at least that need in free agency.
Okay.
I think they have enough picks where they'll have an option to, if somebody jumps out at them, that they will. But yeah, I think that it's going to be a combo of both the way they'll build things.
All right, Nick, appreciate the call. Let me go ahead and give you the Macho Man.
Thank you.
Don't hang up on him yet.
With you guys. Harry, good luck.
Listen,
And,
Nick, I want you to tell everybody where it's happening tomorrow. Nick is down from Chicago. He works. Hold on. He's the Greeks representative with not only TVG but FanDuel. Okay.
Really?
Yeah, he's right. Nick is the man. So you treat my boy Nick with some respect. Otherwise, that Chicago man's coming to get that ass. Okay,
Listen,
Pete?
I'm giving him a respect.
Okay.
Go
But
ahead.
Nick, I want you to tell everybody where they can find us tomorrow because it is a fantastic day.
Well, Harry and the gang and myself, about 50 people, are going to be in the Clockers cabin tomorrow at Tampa Downs.
Wow.
And we're going to be leaning on Harry big time to give us some big picks for the races. And we're going to eat, drink, have a great time. It's going to be great to see all my friends down here in the Tampa area. And it's going to be an awesome time. But I really appreciate you guys having me on.
Absolutely.
Let me speak a little bit. And I'm so excited about this Bears season. It's been a while, and it's the best second news that could come along here. And I don't want to hold you guys up.
Oh, it's exciting.
Aaron Rodgers gets traded to New York, and then it's really over.
Well,
So,
honestly, I think that's going to happen here pretty soon. I honestly think any day now.
But Aaron Rodgers, isn't he too busy having to speak at a Kratom convention in Denver?
I don't know.
Did you guys hear that one? No, seriously.
I didn't hear that one. But what
He's speaking at a hallucinogenic conference as a spokesperson about Kratom. Nick, I just want you to just grasp that, okay?
yeah, Aaron Rodgers, I don't know if I could grasp anything, but
well, I tell you right now, Aaron Rodgers is out of that division. You have to feel good about Justin Fields. I want to throw this statistic out there. Players in NFL history with at least 4,000 passing yards and 1,500 rushing yards in their first 25 starts. 2 names. You ready?
Yes.
1, Lamar Jackson. 2, Justin Fields. DJ Moore definitely adds to that. It's going to be even better. And I tell you right now, he could have that transition where you saw Jalen Hurts in his second.
I think he's better than Jalen.
He has an opportunity to be like that. They go out and get DJ Moore, much like what they did with Jalen Hurts and getting A.J. Brown. Good stuff, Nick. Appreciate the call.
Love you, brother, man. Thanks for calling in.
Thank you, Harry. We'll see you tomorrow, man.
All right.
You got it.
Good stuff.
Have a great one.
Let me go back out to the phone lines here. Steve from San Antonio, welcome to the Evolution. You are with yours truly, along with Harry, the Greek professional handicapper extraordinaire. Go.
Hey, what's going on, Peter and here?
What's going on?
Hey, buddy. Thanks for calling in.
The last few shows, the wife's got me doing garden and all floors. Hey, she's like, football season's over.
Well, to be on, talk to your wife for a moment here. I'll talk to her. And again, disclaimer: I am a single man, so I know what to say here and how to say it. Football season is never over, but wifey, thanks a lot for having Steve call the show. Now, Steve, you got the opportunity, as I always say, happy wife, happy life. So go ahead and tell me what you think about these Bucs moves here in the upcoming days and Bucs moves they did today. What do you think?
So, all right, here's a few things. So I see that the Panthers did what they did.
Mm-hmm.
Saints got who they got.
Mm-hmm.
I feel that the Bucs need to do something. With that said, though, I feel that the Panthers are out of the race for Lamar. I can hear people saying Lamar, no, not this and that, and giving up 2 first-round picks. But last time I checked, Levante wasn't a first round. Chris Godwin wasn't a first round.
Great point, man.
Well, I'll be on
wasn't a
here
first
now.
round.
Here's the thing. Now let's look at this trade. Okay, the Carolina Panthers just traded up. They had to give up 2 first-round. They got to give up 2 first-round picks, 1 this year, 1 next year, a second-round pick, and a premium top wide receiver in the league, a young wide receiver. And all you have to do here, Stevie, is give up 2 first-round picks, pay the man what he's worth. I get it; it's guaranteed money, and you got a 26-year-old franchise quarterback for about 10 to 15 years. And you're telling me that's too
You're
much?
starting to make a good point with that, Pete.
Thank
And
you.
I'm going to tell you right now, I think that the Carolina Panthers, going back to that when you said that, it became very counterproductive for Carolina to give up DJ Moore. The more I'm thinking about it, the more I'm thinking also what the Chicago Bears did. I don't want to say they fleeced somebody into it.
They did.
That is how valuable, and Peter, you're making such a good point, but that's how valuable this year's #1 pick was to a lot of different teams. And it's really going to come into Chicago's favor because, quite honestly, you're losing DJ Moore. You have an average defense at best. You're going to have a mediocre running game. Carolina's not expected to go anywhere, and Chicago could still get a top 5 pick next year out of this. Are you serious?
Exactly. I mean, and
that's just phenomenal.
And here's the thing with the 2 first-round picks, right? You give up 2 first-round picks. You give up a first-round pick this year. It's high. But you have confidence when you trade for Lamar Jackson that you're going to be a playoff team. So it's not going to be a top 10 pick. It may not even be a top 15 pick. It may be a 20 pick. Are you willing to give up 19 and possibly 20 for a franchise quarterback? And everybody continues to tell me, well, he's hurt. Look, he made a business decision. He had a legitimate knee injury. How you do that, and I got to go out to my co-host here because he would know all too well, if you're going to go with a balanced attack with running the ball, you run the ball. You take the pressure off of Jackson. You give him the opportunity, which is what he has not had with a #1 wide receiver and a Mike Evans. You give him a 2 wide receiver and a Chris Godwin. You give him a tight end and a Cade Otton. You give him a running back and a Rashard White, and you give him a defense that's going to be stifling. I tell you right now.
Fantastic point, Pete.
Thank you.
You went out to that. You went to me for a reason. You are making some valid points about Lamar Jackson. The problem with it is they just don't have the money to do it.
Right.
If you think for 1 minute that Tampa's organization wouldn't want a Lamar Jackson here, I mean, I was just busting your balls in the last show when I was saying that, of course, Lamar would be a good fit in this system. But the bottom line is they're just trying to get up under the salary cap, and they're going to try to be a formidable team who's going to play an extraordinarily good defense. They're still going to have their offensive weapons together. Not as you alluded, but as you stated in your last show, it's not financially conducive to go ahead and drop Chris Godwin and Mike Evans because it would cost them how many more millions of dollars
cost
from
them
this year?
23 on 23.6 on Evans, 23.7 on Godwin.
So
they already restructured that deal and look for some type of extension with Mike Evans here in the coming days. And also Shaq Barrett may be in there because they still have some work to do. But what I'm saying is you can find a way. This team can find a way. They got
not for that kind of money. They just can't, Pete.
For me, the first year, if you're looking at it, you may do a deal and you look at Deshaun Watson, right? You got all of it up front and then they restructured it the second year. So the cap, that's what they're trying to do right now with the cap hit. So you can make it happen if you want to. And I feel like if there's an opportunity to do some cap gymnastics, it has to be on this front because he is.
Well, you do know why the contracts were that high because they kept moving the money.
Right. So they can do the same thing. The Bucs can do the same thing. And people go, well, they're in cap hell. They're in cap hell. They just restructured $44 million. So they know what they're doing. They have a plan. They knew that they were going to miss out on Brady. They took the cap hit. They know what they're doing. I'm just saying this is an opportunity. Is it going to happen? I don't know if it's going to happen. Most likely, they're going to go with Kyle Trask or a vet. But at the end of the day, for me.
But that's why you're in cap hell, Pete.
Well, I'm okay with being in cap hell for Tom Brady. I'm okay. Listen, I'm okay with being in cap hell for Lamar Jackson. And I'll tell you this, Stevie, I know you're still here and I want to get back to you in a moment. A lot of people say, well, if you get Lamar Jackson, you're in cap hell, your team's ruined. First and foremost, that's completely ridiculous because the cap every year raises. Second of
Yep.
all,
Yeah.
there's going to be players.
But it
that
doesn't
want
raise
to
enough. It doesn't raise enough. Eventually, you can't outrun it. And this is where you and I are going to differ. You
Mhm.
cannot outrun it. What's going to end up happening to the New Orleans Saints is going to happen a little bit sooner rather than later. Just look what's happening over at the Rams, because the Rams, they're already going to dismantle this team. They're looking to get rid of Matthew Stafford. They're looking to completely implode this team. They won their Super Bowl and they're done. They're going to be smart about it and then try to build. The New Orleans Saints, the longer they keep restructuring these deals, the longer they continue to put themselves in the cap hell, it's going to take so much time for this team to crawl back out of it. And that's what I fear is going to happen to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You can't keep moving contracts, Pete.
Well-
Eventually, it's going to catch up to you, and it's not going to catch up to you for 1 year. This will be 4 and 5 years before you're even a formidable team again.
But this is where the draft comes in, and this is where you depend on Jason Light and that staff to, replenish those moves if you're not able to make them in free agency. And furthermore, I think there's players out there, young players, and I think they will take less money because it is such an attractive option. Because
they're not taking pay cuts, Peter.
They're not going to take pay cuts.
Listen, but the money's still there. They're
Right.
just the contracts are just
Right.
they're just higher because they're moving the money.
Think it's an attractive option for the Bucs. I think they should look at it. And because I've gone down this road, and you know what this road is, it's a graveyard. And you look at the statistics of Bucs with vet quarterbacks, they're a lot better off. You win 2 Super Bowls with vet quarterbacks. When is the last time the Bucs have developed a young quarterback? Doug Williams. That's all the way back in the mid-70s.
Well, they've never had the court. First off, they've never had the coach to do it. The only coach closest that I knew that could develop a quarterback, it sure as hell wasn't. What the hell was his name?
I love Todd Bowles, but do we?
No. Hold on. It wasn't McKay. Okay, he was not really good with quarterbacks.
Right, but
the
you still
best head coach to
develop Doug Williams.
motivate a quarterback and to mold a quarterback was Sam Weish.
Mhm.
Okay, that, my friend, was one of the best coaches ever.
And yet you couldn't
the Tampa
develop
Bay
Trent
Buccaneers.
Dilfer. You're making my point. You couldn't develop
Right.
Trent Dilfer. You drafted him 6 overall.
When you say you don't mind what Tom Brady did, I seem to remember the same exact thing happened with Brad Johnson. The only difference is Brad Johnson didn't leave this team in cap hell.
But still, in that cap hell, you were still able to be competitive because a couple of years later, you won the division. I get it. You didn't go out there and get free agents. I think it was more of the Glazers saying Gruden was not necessarily the best judge of talent because he always wanted veterans that are washed up. In this situation, I think they got people that know what they're doing. I trust those people, and I feel like if those
Who do you trust?
I trust.
No, seriously, who do you trust? Because you can't develop a quarterback with the way this team continually changes coaches. You can't do it.
And that's why you're making my point for me. You get somebody that's established, who's already established. You don't necessarily have to develop them from the jump. Everybody's saying, we'll give Kyle Trask a chance. Okay, what happens if that blows up in your face? Then you're back to square one. You're going out there and getting Caleb Williams. There's no guarantee. Highly talented, Heisman Trophy, I get it, but there's no guarantee. And in the history of the Bucs, there hasn't been that guarantee of developing a young quarterback. That's
Great
why
point.
you get the best of both worlds. You get a 26-year-old quarterback who's still young, who could still lead your franchise for the next 10 years. And what you have to do is give up, possibly 2 first-round mid picks. Get it done. Steve, your thoughts?
I tend to lead towards with you, Peter.
Thank you.
People freaking Lamar's injury. Last time I checked, the 6'4" running backs get hurt. 6 foot running backs get hurt. A 5'10" guy goes on forever. Tom Brady tore his ACL. I mean, yeah, the last 2 years, but I honestly think he could have played in the playoffs, but he was like, screw you. He's disrespected. He's a proud guy. And he's like, I'm not going to play. Like, he felt disrespected. And honestly, I probably will feel the same thing. I won the MVP in year 3. I think it was year 3. And you didn't offer me an extension. You wanted to see more and more. I just think that bridges burn over there. I think Lamar was healthy enough to play. He chose not to play.
Correct.
Rightfully so.
Correct.
And smart. I would have done the damn same thing because I want my money. So I don't look at the injury because,
I think it's a business decision, right? I mean, it's a business decision between both parties. Baltimore didn't want to pay him the guaranteed money he wanted. He had an injury. He talked about the knee injury.
We're talking about established coaches. We're talking about different things. How about we get an established franchise? What coach wants to come to this organization with the way the Glazers do business?
I'm sorry. I think they've done a good job here the last 5 years.
Not the Glazers.
I've definitely done the Glazers.
Oh, no. I'm telling you right now, that's your general manager. If you give this much credit to the Glazers for what they've done to this organization since John Gruden's been here, you need your head examined.
Well, I tell you right
now, they
got
really lucky with getting Jason Light here. No, they got extremely lucky about getting him.
Really lucky because they did make some mistakes with
It's all about this. Let me bring you back to what's his name said, The Rock, Mr. Rock Riley.
Right.
Okay. And this is the point I'm going to make. That man is so intelligent that he actually corrected me without telling me I was wrong. And I'm going to tell you exactly what he said. The Buccaneers were interviewing and hired the 11th coach when it came to the offensive coordinator.
I agree.
Not the first, second, or third.
The
11th, because people don't want to work for the Glazers. That's the problem, Pete.
No, it's not necessarily they don't want to work for the Glazers.
I'm not trying to hurt your feelings there. But Arians, hold on. But Arians was the best coach since Dungy, and they kicked his ass out.
Listen, we talked about this
because of Brady.
Right. But again, I understand where the Glazers came from because they were doing everything to make a championship possible. They got a championship. They thought they could run it back, if you will. So they did everything possible.
Did Arians come here because of the Glazers, or did he come here because of Light?
He came.
You know this team better than anybody.
He came here because of the organization.
Because of who?
Because of Jason Light.
You're damn right. So was it the Glazers?
It was definitely the Glazers because they hired Jason Light. You got to give them credit. You got to give the Glazers credit because they have basically said, you know what, we're gonna put the football decisions in these football minds' hands. That's what they've done. They did it with Jason Light.
This organization should be kissing the ass of Jason Light. And they better stop paying homage to the Glazers, because if the Glazers had it their way, it'd be back to the friggin' Stone Ages from Hugh Culverhouse.
No,
I'm not kidding.
No, because they know that doesn't work because they tried that whole rebuild before with Raheem Morris and it blew up in their face, which is when they got Greg Schiano and they decided to go out in free agency. It would not work. So at the end of the day, the Glazers have let not only the football people run it, but also they've given their approval of opening up the funds, which is what they need to do, which is why you're making my point for me. You're talking about
How am I making your point? You're defending the Glazers.
No, you're making my point for me. The Glazers are about money. Lamar Jackson's going to bring money. Kyle Trask is not going to bring money. Kyle Trask is not going to get fans in the seats unless they're all kinds of Gator fans.
Listen,
and I happen to think
I've heard players actually physically say that they don't see the Glazers for weeks. Mm-hmm. For weeks. They only care about the money. Listen to what Rock said.
But that's what I'm saying. They care about the money, and Lamar Jackson is going to bring that money. And what would you rather have? Would you rather have the Glazers not around, or would you rather have Daniel Snyder and Jerry Jones around all the time?
Oh, come on, that's not even a fair comparison.
It is.
No, it ain't. If they were just at least Jerry Jones, you can't put Daniel Snyder in there. You're not allowed to say his name on any show.
I'm just saying, absolutely, because he's always in the affairs.
But at least Jerry Jones cares about his ball club. He may not know jack shit about football, but at least he cares about his team.
The Cowboys are never going to win another Super Bowl as long as Jerry Jones owns the Cowboys. I'm sorry, because he's not an owner. He tries to butt in with the football decisions. The Glazers don't. They step back.
At least he shows an initiative, Peter.
And the Glazers,
what are the Glazers don't show anything.
Absolutely, they have.
They signed checks. You even answered my question. Who brought Brady here? It wasn't the Glazers.
They allowed the football people.
They're as worthless as the owner of the Rays.
No, don't say. No, they're not.
Not quite as bad.
They're not even close. That is the worst owner in professional sports. Don't ever say that again. He doesn't spend any money at all. The Glazers spend money.
They only care about the money.
They have the mindset that they want to win. They want to win at all costs, whether they make bad decisions or not. Sometimes they are trying to win at all costs. I love
the 11th interview.
Glazers.
The 11th. I'm just going to keep saying
because you have the greatness of Kyle Trask. That's the reason why everybody's trying to sell Kyle Trask.
11th interview.
I'll take the last 3 to 4 years.
The 11th interview with
I'll
two
take
of the
that.
best wide receivers in football, a very, very unused running back, and a top 5 to 7 defense in football. And you can't get a guy that held the only guy you could get is a guy that held a clipboard, who, by the way, I think they're going to step in shit because they found somebody that I think could be a good offensive coordinator, me personally.
He may be good offensive.
Canellis, I think he's going to be a good OC. The
And-
11th choice.
Okay. And they hired Tony
who wants
Dungy.
to
Hold
coach
on. They hired Tony Dungy, and he was the third choice. Everybody wanted it's not Jerry, Jimmy Johnson. They wanted Steve Spurrier, and the Bucs decided to hire the third choice and a Tony Dungy, and it worked out just fine.
Oh,
The
I
Bucs
agree.
been left at the altar twice by Bill Parcells, and they came back and got John Gruden. That's the Glazers. The Glazers have done all that. The Glazers have delivered 2 championships. It's not just the people around. Yeah, it's Rich McKay. Yeah, it's Jason Light, but it's also the Glazers. If you didn't have ownership that would sign off on some of this stuff, you wouldn't have the 2 championships you have. So enough of that nonsense. Because if you want
Nonsense.
nonsense, that's
Stop
terrible.
it.
You got Stu
Stop
Stone,
it.
Stu Culverhouse of the Tampa Bay Rays. Steve, go ahead.
You can't see through your camera, right? Here. Hello. You see me, right?
I see
I was
you.
just wondering because I didn't know if you can actually see past your eyes there.
Yeah, I see you. I see you right here.
This guy sucks.
I see you right here.
That's good enough to suck right there.
All right, Stevie, go ahead. Finish up.
I love Steve.
Oh my God, this was the highlight of my night.
Good.
To include the crown.
Good.
So off topic, real quick before I get off.
Yeah.
Harry, what about March Madness?
That's a
March
great,
Madness.
that's a great question, man. I got to be honest with you. That is one area I don't typically dibble in too much because for me to make an educated guess or to be able to make a wager, I have to watch a lot of game film. And could you imagine me looking at 64 different games going, yeah, I like this one. I don't know. I'm going to tell you, the Greek's going to say this to you. Take a dart, throw it up there, and you got a 50-50 chance on each game. I promise you.
Oh, my God. Great advice there. Steve, thanks a lot for the call. Definitely.
Actually, you know who I do like? I do like Duke a lot this year.
Duke. All right. There you go. Duke. You there, Steve?
Is Steve still there?
Steve's there. Yep.
Oh,
Good
yeah.
call. All right. Let's.
Pete, seriously, man, I got a question for you, bro.
Sure, go
I've
ahead.
got a question for you. You can't just sit there and just stand on your soapbox and think you're
Why not?
right with this because you can't.
Why not?
Okay, because I made some valid points.
You made some
This-
valid points. but
okay,
you're comparing
This
the
all
two
started.
sports.
This
You
all
lost.
started, Pete, when you and I were talking about cap
Mhm.
space and cap hell.
Yes.
I'm afraid if they continue to move contracts like this, it's going to be a very, very long time when this team does get bad because eventually these players are going to get older and then it's going to be a long time before they become relevant again.
Again, that's where you have faith in your football people, which is what the Glazers.
It ain't the Glazers. That ain't the Glazers.
Have faith in their football people for Jason Light to do the best that he can, best what he can with drafting prospects.
Do you know what's going to happen to Jason Light this year?
I mean,
Arguably one of the best general managers in football, that
What's
if he doesn't make it work with Kyle Trask, if he's the number 1 quarterback, Jason Light will be looking for a job just like the others did.
I don't know if
Just
Jason
like
Light-
just like my friend, by the way, turnabout is fair play because Jason Light's going to get exactly what Lovie Smith wished.
I'm telling
Just
you right
remember
now,
what I
I'm
said.
not sure if Jason Light is on the block at the end of the day. I think the Glazers believe in him, believe in
He
his
will be
plan.
fired as
But
well
my
as Bowles.
problem is going with a young quarterback. I have doubts about not only Kyle Trask, but also Todd Bowles and him developing, though you did get Dave Canales. So we'll see what happens. Let's go out to the comments.
It's going to
here.
work out good.
We'll see. Bear down, FGB, NFC North champion, Chicago. I'll acknowledge you.
Acknowledge me.
Greek, are you as happy as I am? I'm ecstatic. Roger Sue says Jalen Carter at 9. Jump on him. I mean, Jalen Carter.
He might be available then.
He might. But
But
you,
is he?
take
But
him?
I don't know how can you take him if he has a pending felony like that? That would
Well,
be.
it's kind of gone by the wayside at this point.
Oh, it has?
I haven't heard much from it. I haven't heard anything
Okay,
about
if
it.
he's not going to be charged,
Right.
then he's still going to be a top 5 pick. Then
I think it's
if
still.
he's if they're thinking about charging him, He slides way back
For
there down
me,
yonder.
for me, the red flag is that he put himself in that situation. But I get it. He's a kid. He make a mistake. I just don't understand it. I definitely think you have to do your research and your
The
homework.
Glazers still suck, by the way, okay?
No, they don't.
Yes, they
I
do.
will
They
say
suck.
I
They
love
suck.
I love the Glazers, okay? I love what they do for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They are trying to win.
They
at
are
all costs.
completely hands off.
And that's what you need. You need
No, you don't, buddy.
You need an owner. You need an ownership that is completely hands off.
You need a president, and you need the owners to be somewhat involved.
They are involved in decision making, but at the end of the day, Harry, they're not.
They're involved. Hold on, they're doing this.
No, they're not. Well, it's a lot better than Stu Sternberg.
This is for. What do you mean? You want one of these? Oh no.
Come on, Harry. Come on. I mean, the choices are Stu Sternberg. And the Lightning owner over there, he does great job. I mean, that's what I think of with the Lightning. The Lightning can duplicate that success with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers because they have the attitude to go all in. All right, let's go out to the comments here. Troy, don't start any stuff. The grown-ups are talking. I don't even see Troy in here. Well, Harry was right. The Bears made the smart move. Eric says, hello. Russ, Panthers picking won't really matter. They're picking Richardson, which is stupid because they hate Matt Corral.
They have Matt Corral.
Right. And other pressing needs. Ben, smart move by the Bears. They have plenty of holes to fill draft-wise and have a lot of money to spend. Hopefully, they help Justin Fields with a better offensive line. Also, getting a wide receiver and DJ Moore in the trade was huge. I mean, for me, that's your biggest need. And you also have to rebuild that defense, right? So what do you do? Question. So the 9 pick for you, once again, is what? Who do
it's
you
all defense. I think your first 3 rounds are all defense. That's just my own personal opinion. I think you address that offensive line through free agency, and in your later rounds, then you go ahead and pick up an offensive lineman.
All right. Let's go back out to these comments here, and we'll get back to it. Eric says agreed.
That must have been something I said.
Let's go Bucs, whatever. Let's see here. Troy says first. No, you're not. You're last.
This guy sucks.
Troy Polamalu says Justin Fields is not a grown-up. He is a teenie. He's going to be one of the best young quarterbacks in the NFL. I mean, I'm telling you right now, you guys are going to have to eat your words on this. Russ says, how many times did the Bucs have number 1 pick and screw it up?
Great point, Russ.
Go after a quarterback. So, again, this whole emphasis, and I don't know.
Again, hold on. I want to defend the Buccaneers.
Okay,
let me defend the Buccaneers organization on that. The better question is not how many times have the Buccaneers had a number 1 pick and screwed it up. How many teams have had the number 1 pick and screwed it up? I'm going to go ahead and put it out there. There are far, far, far more bust as number 1 drafted quarterbacks than there are ones that have been successful.
That's it. And then that's the thing, and that's the chance, and that's why I continue to say if the first-round pick costs you that much, and an established young quarterback like Lamar Jackson only costs you 2 first-round picks and paying him the money, then what are we talking about here, guys?
All right.
727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Again, 727-409-7528. Again, 727.
Get back to those comments, Pete.
1528. All right. Open phone lines if you want to call in here. Yours truly, along with Harry the Greek professional handicapper extraordinaire. Would you shut up and be quiet?
This guy sucks.
Who?
You.
I didn't say anything.
Yeah, you did. You said get back to the comments.
No, I says, come on, let's get to the comments.
Oh, yeah, get to the comments. I'm getting to the comments here. All right, DJ Moore and draft control. Way to go, Ryan Poles.
Adam. What's up, Adam?
Ella, what's going on? Mike says we should draft Osiris Torrance, which is a guard out of Florida. That's certainly a possibility with them restructuring this line.
Really good player, by the way. Really good player, Peter.
Now, also the Bucs today, they have moved. The team announced they have tendered Nick Leverett a contract as an exclusive rights free agent. The move means Leverett will not be able to negotiate with other teams, which will keep him tied to Tampa Bay for another season. So once again, the offensive line coming together. I feel like they definitely want him a part of these plans. He's going to be left guard. I think they go with Tristan Wirfs at the left tackle. You get Ryan Jensen back. You go with Shaq Mason, who they have an opportunity to restructure.
You like Shaq Mason?
I do like Shaq Mason, yeah. I do. And if they don't, then you could go with Osiris Torrance if that's a need. But for me, I would rather keep this offensive line intact And then you can look at right tackle, either going with an in-house option like a Luke Gedeke or drafting somebody, because it's far easier here, the Greek, to go and draft a right tackle in the first round or in the draft than a left tackle. I don't want to put a rookie left tackle out there when you can have Tristan Wirfs at the left side.
You know, I'm a little bit more outspoken, go figure, when it comes to
Go for
talking
it.
about Tristan Wirfs.
Sure.
Tristan Wirfs should not make the transition to the left side. I
Why?
think you have much more to lose with his confidence if it doesn't go well for him. Personally, I think he'll succeed over there, but that switch from right to left side is totally different. Totally different. I think they need to keep him on the right side, fix your cap situation, and find yourself a mid to upper tier type of left tackle in free agency, and also draft a couple of offensive linemen and go ahead and develop them. This is my opinion. I'm sticking to it. You do not move one of the better right tackles in football and say, hey, do me a favor, now bump it to the left side. And I'm going to give you an example.
Okay.
Kyle Long. That's
Okay.
all I'm going to say.
Okay. Well, and I will say this, it works for some players.
Same exact player.
Right.
Same exact player.
Well, the difference is that
except he was a left tackle that
Right.
couldn't succeed, and they dropped him to the right side.
Well, I think Tristan's a lot better. He's been able to handle.
Actually, he's not.
He is now. Tristan Wirfs is a lot better tackle. He's one of the best tackles in the league. He's the best offensive lineman on this team. He has a wrestling background. To go back to what Leo Haggerty said the other night, he also played some left tackle in college.
Listen, man, you asked my opinion.
Mhm.
You don't screw with success. He's a Pro Bowl right tackle.
But I think that's going to be the plan. That's the reason why you move on from a Donovan Smith in the first place. So
And wrestling ain't got nothing to do with this, buddy.
Absolutely. Positioning, wrestling. I'm not talking about professional wrestling and WWE. I'm talking about college wrestling where you have
I just had to throw that one out there.
No, I'll throw this out there. How about that?
Shitter!
All right.
The salary cap has everything to do with this problem.
I mean, again, they can adjust the salary that already. They've shown you, and that's the news of the day. According to Greg Allman, they have freed up or they've cleared out $44 million. More moves need to be made. I don't believe that.
How many more days do they have to do that to get that cap?
Until Wednesday.
This Wednesday coming up.
Yes, sir. That's
okay. So there's probably going to be one or two more fatalities.
Well, Fournette and Brate, and then there could also be restructure. There could be restructures of you could have an extension for Mike Evans. You could restructure Shaq Barrett's contract. You could also cut a Russell Gage. I'm not sure if they're going to, but they could definitely do it, restructure that deal. I mean, there's ways of moving money around. Like you said, the money is, this year instead of the back years, but you could definitely move it around where you're cap compliant. And again, this is where I go back to it. The cap to me is a thing that you can manipulate. The Saints have shown they've been able to do that the last 5 years. I think the Bucs can do the same thing. And
the man that's on the bubble, Peter, is Shaq Barrett.
Right. Well, there's question marks because he's coming off an injury.
Do you think they should keep him? The guy that gets
Absolutely.
close to the quarterback?
I think you have to keep him, but are you gonna? I think there's like a $1 million cap hit. If you restructure that deal, I definitely think that's more possible at the end of the day. I think you can definitely do that.
With him, I think it's going to be more of a hindrance this year because of the injury problem and because of the fact, I mean, you don't get paid for almost getting to the quarterback and putting pressure on him. You get paid.
He's your best pass rusher because JTS hasn't shown up. So to me, that could be the biggest move at 19. And there's a Nolan Smith on the board, which I doubt, but let's say he is there. Let's say there's an edge rusher on the board. You could go safety. Again,
do the Bucs move up to grab somebody?
No, they're not in that situation. So? No. Okay. No, they move down. If they're going to do anything, they move down to get more players.
That's about the smartest thing I've heard you say on the show.
Besides all the Lamar Jackson stuff. I'm your host, Peter Blake here on
Lamar Jackson is not going to win this team a Super Bowl, Pete.
Oh my God. Lamar Jackson at 26 years old.
Kyle, we trust. Say it. It shall set you free.
I'm not saying anything. All right. John says Bucs fleece Carolina. Roger says now no wife, happy life, says Roger. And to that, I'll say this.
This guy sucks.
Stop saying I bring nothing to the show. I'm the one that stays up watching the show when everyone else goes to sleep.
Hey, wait a minute. Did you say Nolan Smith?
Nolan Smith, yeah.
He's not a double-digit sack guy.
But he's a guy that had a 4.39. He's an edge rusher. I mean, you could go and that
He's run support, man. This kid is strictly run support.
That may be the reason why he's there at 19, or he slips down where you could get him. But overall, what he did at the combine and look at the tape, that's the reason why he may go top 10. Again,
I hate the underwear Olympics, man. Put a set of pads on and let me take a look at how the guy's playing. That's why
in the eye of the beholder at the end of the day, because somebody out there, scouts may say, you know what? I don't think he's a guy that we need to go with because of his tape. And then some scout,
you know what a 4.340 means to me?
Well, it means
it means he's quick to run to the kitchen. Okay, that doesn't mean anything to me.
Well, he may be quick to run to the quarterback. You're exactly right. It doesn't mean anything. The tape means it, but it's
there. You go.
It's definitely one of the factors.
Football speed, baby, game speed. That's what it's all about.
They still look at that tape. All right, so go back to Troy here. Stop saying I bring nothing to the show. I'm the one that stays up watching the show when everyone else goes to sleep.
That's good enough to suck right there.
I don't even know what you just said. Laugh out loud, says Roger. Jets leave Rodgers alone. How do you think that situation's going to work out with Aaron Rodgers?
That's a great question.
Thank you.
I'm gonna tell you how that's gonna end up. Aaron Rodgers is going to drink too much kratom, and he's gonna have one of these outer body experiences and wish that he was still with Danica Patrick. Who the hell cares? The guy, in my opinion,
you should care.
Why? Leave him in Green Bay. I am going to enjoy destroying him.
I hate to say this. He has owned the Chicago Bears.
He owned them. He won't own them this year. Please stay in Green Bay, because I'm going to tell you right now, I will absolutely. I want him. I want. You see, you don't understand. If you want to be the best, you have to beat the best.
And I'm going to be honest with you.
I'm not a guy that likes to run.
You have, and by the way, that's a wrestling term. So you just used a wrestling term. So in order to beat the best, you got to beat the best. That's Ric Flair, by the way. So good stuff right there. As I'm producing, as we're on live here, let me go ahead and send the link to somebody for him to come in here. I know he wants to. Oh, it's a surprise. You'll see in a moment here as we're on the Sports Web open phone line 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Again, 727-409-7528. Again, 727-409-7528. You want him to leave the Packers. You need him to leave the Packers because he's owned the Chicago Bears. Because I tell you right now, you feel good about winning that division.
But you do. I get that. But listen, that division is going to become so competitive this year because of what's happening. The emergence of the Detroit Lions. Minnesota, in my opinion, was one of the worst 13-win teams I have ever seen. They will. They're getting rid of Adam Thielen. It looks like Dalvin Cook is on the trade block. The defense, they're going to address it. They can only get better. They can't get worse unless you were like the Atlanta Falcons. I mean, the Chicago Bears have no place but up to go. And I do like what's going on. But you know what? I'm not that person that says, I hope he loses them because I don't want to have to face him. No, buddy, I've never been that person. I so look forward to seeing Aaron Rodgers twice a year. You have no idea. I hate Aaron Rodgers. You know what? He needs to go to the New York Jets. He really does, because I cannot wait to see how he will fold like a house of cards with that New York Jet media. I mean, it is going to be brutal.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I would have chose Carolina if the Carolina was on the options there over, or even the Raiders over that New York media, because the New York media is going to eat them alive. But you know what? Let's look at this. Let's assume that Rodgers does go to the Jets. You have that division with Josh Allen. You have Tua there, Miami entrenched. You have New England still with Mac Jones, and I'll get out to Fat Mike in a moment because I know he wants to talk about the Chicago Bears and around the NFL there of 1252 Chicago Sports. But are the Jets, in your opinion, are they the number one contender besides the Buffalo Bills, or is it going to be a much tougher division than that NFC North, in your opinion?
I honestly think that the Buffalo Bills are going to regress this year, just a smidge, in my own personal opinion.
Okay.
I think healthy, the best team in that division is the Miami Dolphins.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not close. All they have to do is rectify and get a little bit better on this defense, which I think they're going to address in the offseason as well as the draft. Now, if the Jets end up getting Aaron Rodgers with the way that defense is set up, with that passing attack, that running game after that kid comes back from his ACL, son, let me tell you something. The Jets, it will be the first time in a long time, will be the talk of New York.
I
not
agree.
The Giants.
I agree, and I think they're missing that option, and that's what they were missing last year with Zach Wilson and Joe Flacco. Those guys and Mike White, they're not going to take you anywhere. We saw they had some success with Joe Flacco and Mike White, but you get a quarterback like Aaron Rodgers, you have that defense, you have those weapons, you have the running game, as you talked about. I think they can definitely be a contender in that AFC East. Let's go out to this man right here. I'm going to go ahead and put some music on for him. Here we go. All right, Mr. Fat Mike here at 1252 Chicago Sports. Welcome to the Evolution. I got to get your thoughts on a big day by your team making a big-time trade. What do you think about it? And if you're the general manager at this point, do you feel like they got enough for that first pick? Welcome to the Evolution.
Thank you for having me. I think they definitely got enough. I think they killed it. I think Ryan Poles did his job today. I really do. I think he absolutely slayed it. He's got the number 9 pick. He's got their second round pick, their number 1 next year, and a number 2 the year after that. And he also ended up landing a legit number 1 wide receiver in Curtis Samuel. Now, I'm not the biggest Curtis.
Sorry, DJ Moore.
DJ Moore.
Yeah.
I'm not the biggest DJ Moore fan. All right, because he's a little small. But I'll take him. It gives us a legit weapon at a wide receiver. It forces Chase Claypool out to the left as the number 2, and forces Darnell Mooney into the slot.
I don't think that's going to be that way. I honestly think that Chase Claypool could still be your number 1, and DJ Moore could be the number 2 wide receiver on this team. I think it could be a 1A, 1B type of situation.
It could be.
You know, that's just my own personal opinion. Mike, you look great, man. How's the weather up there in Chicago?
Beautiful. 40. It is. Let's see. It's 38 degrees, wet, sloppy, and nasty, like my ex-girlfriend.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
This guy sucks.
All right, let's talk about it. Number 9 selection there. Who would you select? What do you think the biggest need for the Chicago Bears there at number 9?
It's hands down. It's defense. It's that kid. It's that defensive end out of Texas Tech.
Told you.
That's the kid that you need there at number 9. If you stay at number 9, that's where you need to be.
And you know, Mike, he's the best edge rusher in the draft, and people aren't talking about him. He's got the size, he's got the speed, he's got
not only that, but he
everything
is the finesse. That's one word that, if you guys realize, that's one word that's not thrown around at the draft is finesse.
Sure.
Okay, like Yamir Yager. All right, you guys know who that is?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
the hockey player.
Sure.
Okay, Pittsburgh Penguin, Washington Capitals.
You know we're in
forever.
Florida, not in Ireland, right?
Okay, I'm just saying, because I'm a big hockey guy. I know you guys are big football guys, but I'm also a big hockey guy too. But Yamir Yager had finesse. All right, he was the type of guy that you tried to poke check from the back, try to stick lift him, and he'd grab your stick and score with one hand. All right, That's Yamir Yager's game. This kid out of Texas Tech, he has the finesse like a Dwight Freeney, where he can get almost 90 degrees.
Do you know who he reminds me of, Mike?
He can become an acute angle and go around you and still hit the quarterback.
Mike, do you know who he reminds me of?
This kid.
He's a combination, in my opinion, of an Alex Brown, okay, and a little bit of attitude from Alonzo Spellman. That's a little bit before your time.
No, I remember Alonzo Spellman.
Okay, Alonzo Spellman. The only problem, I'm not saying that he's nuts, but this kid this kid we're talking about, boy, let me tell you something. He plays with he's an animal. Let me just put it to you that way.
Yeah, no, he's a good player.
Well, and I tell you right now, if Jalen Carter,
what if Jalen Carter's available at that pick, Mike? What do you do?
You take him. You fucking.
You have
are
to,
you nuts?
All right,
Well,
Peter.
do you have some questions about it? Because I kind of feel like, look, you put yourself in a situation.
No. I mean, listen, I'm the type of guy. I don't care what happens off the field. All right. I mean, come on. We're sitting there. Everybody this year was talking about how Deshaun Watson's getting tug jobs down in Houston. Okay. You're telling me Mickey Mantle didn't do the same thing in the 1950s, 1960s?
Yeah, he didn't get
It
caught.
just wasn't there. It wasn't brought. There was no social media then.
Well,
I don't
listen,
care what you do in your off time. I don't care what you do in your off time.
Good
If
point.
you can produce for me on the field, that's what I care about. You are paid to do a job. If you do your job, I don't care.
My problem is that he did it before the best job, the greatest job interview of his life. You basically cost yourself the opportunity to be the number one
he's a
overall
dipshit.
pick. So, right.
Yeah.
So I have questions. There's major questions there. And I think there's a reason, and there should be an investigation that if he is still on the board, I hope the Bears are doing their due diligence to sit there and say, why is he dropping? Is this a guy that I'm going to build around? Is this a guy that I'm going to bring in my community? So it's not about getting caught. And
let's remember, he hasn't been charged with anything yet. And that's usually
and
a good
look at Laramie
indication.
Tunsil. I mean, the perfect example is Laramie Tunsil.
Right. You could also look at Lawrence Phillips. You could look at Ray Caruth.
Right.
You could look at
All right.
But you can also look at Ben Roethlisberger. You can look at Ray Lewis. I mean, people that get away with stuff.
Ray Lewis didn't kill that guy. He just put him in his trunk.
Easy.
Right.
All right, he was already established in the league.
Easy.
All right, but let's get real here. Guys that hit the shelf, guys that hit pay dirt and hit sand before the draft. You're looking at Laramie Tunsil, a guy that's in there doing bong rips in a gas mask a week before the draft. Yet he's still a perennial Pro Bowler. He's still out there doing his job. He goes out on the field. He does his job each and every single day of the week. I don't care what he does on his off time. I don't care.
I think you got to care. I think you got to. When you leave the scene of a crime, when you lie to authorities, it's a big responsibility, and it's a privilege to get drafted.
He didn't crash their car.
Yeah, but he was a part of it. He lied to authorities, and he left the scene of the crime.
Listen, if there was relevance there, Peter, they would
He'd
not
already
have
be booked.
questioned him. They wouldn't have just questioned him and released him. Listen, I am one of the people that have a tendency of getting caught up in social media, and this is the problem in today's society. Just because it comes out on the social media, you don't automatically have to assume the person is guilty.
But the
the
reason why he was taken into custody is because he lied to authorities and he left the scene of the crime.
Okay, so he's a dumbass.
So he's not accountable. So my thing is my thinking here. We're on with Fat Mike, of course, Harry the Greek professional handicapper extraordinaire. I'm your host, Peter Blake, here on the Sports Web. Is if you want somebody that's accountable on and off the field, how can you legitimately say, I'm going to give this guy millions of dollars and feel like he won't do that again? I'm just saying, I'm playing devil's advocate here.
You want to know why?
And I'm also saying that this doesn't make a lot of sense a month before. I get it. He's a kid and you can use that excuse all you want to. But at the end of the day, you also have to say, what's the priority? Does he want to be a defensive tackle in the National Football League? Does he want to be the number one overall pick? Does he want to be a top 3 pick? Does he want to be a top 5 pick? If he doesn't, then get out of control, go party and be a kid. But if you do the necessary things, and I'm hoping that this has changed his life. Now you can go ahead, Mike.
I'm gonna give you 4 syllables here, and the 4 syllables are W's. See that? It's W.
Okay.
And then wins.
Okay.
4 syllables. That's why you
let's
take
go
this
back.
kid where he needs to be.
Let's talk about the kid from Georgia.
Yeah.
They weren't, he
Jalen
didn't kill the dude. They were street racing.
Yeah, but he left the scene of the crime and he lied to
get it.
authorities. That is my problem with the whole thing. And he put himself in that situation. And
so he's a moron. So he's a moron. Plaxico Burress shot himself in the foot. Shot himself in the leg.
And he also went to jail for that. And he was
because he's a moron. But this kid's behind a car. He didn't kill anybody.
But it's the thought. It's the whole thought process.
I get it. He didn't kill anybody though.
And there's a reason why there's 7 other teams that could be passing on him. The Bears may be one of those teams that may.
Me as a Bear fan is sitting like this.
Maybe, and maybe
You know who I'm thinking of? The next
What's that?
Tommy Harris.
Okay.
You
All
know
right.
who I'm thinking of?
Who?
What's that?
The next Vincent Wilfork.
Well, it may be.
That
Yeah,
big?
If you can get him off, the edge, Dwight Freeney, Vincent Wilfork, a guy that can get you 9.5 sacks a year. Give me that guy. A
We'll
guy
see.
that can stop the run.
Well-
I don't, like I said, unless he's out there, and this is going to sound very brutal. Okay,
Yeah.
it's going to sound very brutal.
Yeah.
But I'm going to keep it super PG because I know your show is PG. Unless he's out there going out and really doing some terrible, terrible stuff towards women, underage kids, this, that, and the other thing, whatever. Don't care. Okay, unless it's those things, I don't care. You put this guy in the field, let him do his job.
But the problem is Roger Goodell does care. And Roger Goodell.
Roger Goodell's a meat puppet.
Okay, but
He
Roger
cannot get suspended in the National Football League for something that happened in college.
Exactly.
No, he can't be, but he can be brought up to the principal's office like Jameis Winston was when he got drafted by the Bucs out of Florida State.
Because he stole what, crab legs?
No, he did a little bit more than that, boss.
Yeah,
I
but
do remember.
there was no what's the word I'm looking for? There was no like beat down on him.
No, but when he did get caught doing something that he wasn't supposed to do, he was suspended. So what I'm saying is he already put a target on his back. And if Roger Goodell and the NFL is all about protecting the shield, that's exactly what they're going to do.
If Roger Goodell is all about protecting the shield, then Deshaun Watson would not be playing football.
Well, he got suspended for what? How many games? Mid-season, 11 games. I agree with you on that, and I think that was a players' association. He should have been suspended for the whole year. But that's what I'm saying. That
if Roger Goodell cared about the shield so much, like you say, Deshaun Watson would never play another touch game of football ever again.
I agree, but he still was suspended.
I agree.
And if you're investing,
the NFL is all about money.
Let's talk about this then. Let's go down that rabbit hole, Pete. Are you serious? You think that was an appropriate punishment? Ray Rice beat the brakes. Hold on.
No.
Ray Rice beat the brakes off his girlfriend in a hotel, and he's never played another down of football.
Hold on, Harry.
Stop.
Let's go out to the phone lines here. Roger, welcome to the Evolution here with yours truly, along with Fat Mike, and of course, Harry, the Greek professional handicapper extraordinaire. Go.
Fat Mike, hey, what's going on, guys? All right, so I agree with Fat Mike 100%. I don't give a shit what freaking Jalen Carter does off the field. I want wins.
But here's the thing. I want to stop you here because you're going to be the guy that's going to sit here and say, I don't give a shit what he does off the field.
Did you just say the S word?
I did say it. I did absolutely.
Hold on, time out.
Hold on.
I want it to be known that I wasn't the first one to swear.
Okay, listen. I don't care because you'll be the first person that will say that, and then when he gets suspended, you'll be the first person, Roger Shoe, that will complain. Okay, so if he does get into trouble and you guys do draft him or some other NFL team drafts him, don't come on this damn show and say he made a mistake. You can
only punish somebody for what's in the NFL handbook, Peter.
You better give them the same energy that you're saying right now you care about.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, go ahead.
Of course.
You know what the better question? Hold on, Roger. You know what the better question is? Hold on, Roger. Do you know what the better question is, Peter?
What's that?
Has that young man ever gotten in trouble from before? Let me answer that for you.
No. He has some character issues. He already has some character issues. There's some red flags out there.
Tell me what they were, because he's never been in trouble with the law.
I'm telling you right now, there's other incidents out there in college. That's
what
the reason why
Peter?
he's dropping. I'm going to go through them in a little bit. I'm going to find them and I'm going to show you them. But he has had some issues, not like this.
I didn't know the NFL turned into CSI.
Well, I mean, listen, they're going to do background checks. Okay, guys? I mean, this is the way it is.
Sponsored by Twisted Tea.
Listen, if you're going to invest that much money in somebody, you're going to know what they did, what they ate for breakfast, what they did in middle school, what they did in high school, what they did in college. You're going to know everything because it is a large investment. So you guys can sit up here, sit on your soapbox and say, oh, I care about wins. But at the end of the day, I'm telling you the mindset is not right. That's all I'm saying. And there's
Okay,
a reason.
but you were okay. You were okay with Antonio Brown, though. All you wanted was wins.
That's the only
Yep, there you go. Give it
That was
to him,
my
Roger.
next point.
I'll tell you right now, I wasn't okay with Antonio Brown. I said to give it a chance.
His jock the whole time.
Okay.
You were on the way to
Listen,
the Super Bowl.
Oh, yes, he did.
We're gonna say that I was right. Okay, listen, I'm gonna hang up on you because that's that's nonsense. Because
Don't you hang up on him.
You're not going to make this person.
Roger, I'm Harry the Greek, and I'm telling you to call back.
I'm riding somebody's block. That's not happening. You're not doing that. I'm going to tell you right now.
The truth.
I told you. No, what the truth is that you're a troll. What the truth is that you twist things. You'd be the first person that would complain about Jalen Carter getting in trouble. You'd be the first person to complain.
Peter, didn't you say something about accountability?
Really quick, if you guys want to twist things.
Listen, I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what. I'm gonna have a discussion right now. Listen, okay, I'm gonna have a discussion with you. What I said was, at the end of the day, I will give it a chance. But I also said before it happened that there would be some consequences. Did I not? Did I not say there would be some consequences? Did I not say that I had some problems with it and that my mindset wasn't all in on Antonio Brown? Did I not say that? Did I not say that? Right. Go silent.
Hello.
You're not going to come on this show and sit here and say that I was all in with Antonio Brown, because I was not all in with Antonio Brown.
But
I know you were.
You preach.
I told you. Wait. I told you both that there would be some problems with the guy because he wasn't all right. Okay. My biggest problem is that Jalen Carter put himself in a situation before the biggest job interview. I'm not saying that he's the worst guy on earth. I'm saying there's going to be doubts out there from NFL teams. That's all I said.
I remember the shows, Pete,
where
you had your doubt and I had my doubt.
Yep.
But I am going to say it like it is. The first time he won a game for the Bucs, you dropped his drawers and were hugging his nuts. That's how much you loved AB.
Okay, that's bullshit.
No,
that is
bullshit.
No, that is.
You loved Antonio Brown.
I'm backing you up. That is bullshit, Harry. Because I remember when Peter was sitting there. Peter and I were talking one night. The second that Tampa Bay signed Antonio Brown, and he was like, "Dude, this guy seems kind of like a mental case. I don't like it." He's like, "But the guy can definitely help out Tampa Bay Bucs."
Yes.
And I'm like, yes, for sure. But I'm like, how much are you willing to put that he helped? Like, what's your cap? Is it 50-50 that he helps out the Bucs, or is it that he's a complete mental case? Peter, did we not have that conversation?
Yeah, we had that conversation. We also had the conversation with Tom Brady was in controls and he was living with Tom Brady at the time. And if Tom was signing off on it, I said, okay, I'm going to give it a shot. I'm going to give it a chance.
So you're willing to give AB a chance, but not Jalen Carter.
I didn't say I wasn't willing to give Jalen Carter. I said I have my doubts, sir. I'm not signed off.
The difference is this, and I'll tell you the difference right now. The difference is this. Antonio Brown puts points on the board.
And Jalen Carter stops, and he stops.
And Jalen Carter stops him. But
if Jalen Carter's available at 19 when the Bucs pick, Peter,
I definitely think there's some definite thought.
You take him?
I think there's thought.
Would you take him if you were in that spot?
I don't know.
If Jalen Carter's available at 9,
come on, Peter.
If Jalen Carter's available at 9 as a Bears fan,
I don't know.
Peter, come on.
I don't know.
You can do it. Peter.
You're out of your fucking mind, Pete.
I don't know.
Peter, come on. You can do it.
I don't know if I take him. And to tell you the truth, again, my problem is putting yourself in that situation. I talk about talent. It's there with the kid. What my problem is the decision-making process. Open phone line, 727-0391.
Peter's like, please call in.
I tell you right now, and please don't make this personal. Don't say I'm riding somebody's jock.
I didn't say jock, Peter.
Nah, well, he did. And
I did not.
Not you. I said Roger said it. Please.
I haven't even swore yet.
All right. Whatever. You did.
I was talking about hugging the nuts. That's
whatever. Yeah. Okay.
It's Antonio Brown.
And then when he quits on the team, everybody's like, "Oh my God, I'm shocked that he quit on the team." No, because that's the kind of person he is. He doesn't take any accountability at the end of the day. That was my point from the very beginning.
I didn't give you an Al Keck moment there, buddy.
I know you didn't. I got you, bro.
I wouldn't do that.
I got you. All right. Let's see here. Let's go out to
even though you do like jocks, though.
Whatever. You're an idiot. You're an idiot. Bryce Young is not worth all that. Neither is Stroud. But again, the Bears got it, John. So
that's all that matters. That's all that matters.
The bill eventually comes due.
You know what? Go back to that comment real quick.
Yes.
That's the point that I was trying to make. This is what's going to happen to the New Orleans Saints, because when you continue to move contracts the way they're doing it, it's inevitable that you're going to be in cap hell. And when you're in cap hell, you're in cap hell for even longer. And that's what I'm afraid of with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Let's get real here. Sean Payton is the one that put them in cap hell.
Well, no, it's not Sean Payton. It's Loomis and it's the whole organization.
But it's pretty much Sean Payton getting rid of all of his stuff to make sure that he has what he has.
No, it's not Sean Payton. It's the whole organization. They're going in. They're trying to win. And everybody's saying the bill comes due. Yeah, sometimes the bill does come due. But at the end of the day, you can move money around if you need to and if you want to. And you guys act like this is my prevailing thought on this. Everybody acts like the owners are going to go broke. We're talking about a multi-billion-dollar business. You want to tell an owner, you want to ask an owner, you want to make an owner squirm, ask him to check your books. And I guarantee you, not 8 times.
Ask him about his massages.
Well, not 9 times out of 10, not 10 times out of 10. They will never show you their books. You know why? Because they're making more money than you think. I'm not naive about this. It's a billion-dollar business. If they want to move money around, if they want to sign players, they'll get it done. That was my point with the Glazers. They wanted to go all in.
Owners' money versus the league cap salary are two totally different things.
They have a lot more money than what they're saying. They just created $44 million in cap space.
And that's set for every team.
It's for the Bucs. And
can I pause this really quick and just say I look damn good right now.
Okay. Mike, go ahead and
this is sponsored by who, Mike?
You guys are idiots. All right, so let's go out to the comments here. John says Lamar Jackson is a great running back masquerading as.
Would you shut the fuck up, John Gonzalez?
God.
I mean, stop it. Knock it off. All right, this is
okay. All right.
No, don't kick me off just yet until I make my point, Peter.
Make your points.
All right, Lamar Jackson is a very good quarterback in this league right now. And everybody that's giving him guff is crap.
Me.
He's a good quarterback. He just needs wide receivers and he needs an offensive line around him to make him a good quarterback.
Right.
Harbaugh has not had that in the last 5 years. You're talking about a guy who won MVP with what wide receiver?
Let me ask you this. Are you surprised that Fat Mike, and I know, Harry, how you think about this, but are you surprised that so many teams came out? You had so many press releases when basically the Ravens said they were going to give a non-exclusive tag. You had the Falcons come out, the Panthers come out, the Commanders come out, the Raiders come out and say they're not interested in Lamar Jackson. Am I missing something here?
Yes.
If you didn't have Justin Fields, do you think the Bears would be interested in a 26-year-old franchise quarterback? Why
you don't have a lot of free agents busting the door down there?
Now,
because nobody wants to run cardio. Okay, that's all they're doing. The ball's not getting thrown to him. That's why.
Well, he hasn't. First, again, to be fair, he hasn't had a number 1 wide receiver, let alone.
That's why, because all they're out there doing is running cardio.
No, it's because the Ravens' inability to get him a number 1 wide receiver.
Well, not only that, but to get him blockers.
Right.
That guy's in fear of his life every time he says hut.
That's
I mean, like, let's get real here. Lamar Jackson is a legit weapon in today's NFL. The way the NFL game has opened up to what it is today, where a quarterback can be multidimensional, being running quarterback, being throwing quarterback, being a hybrid type of quarterback, is tremendous. And Lamar Jackson fits that prototype 100%.
But he doesn't throw to the people that he does have, Fat Mike.
What does he have, though?
It doesn't make a difference. He takes off. He looks at one read. He doesn't see it. He takes off and runs.
Harry, we are talking. Picture yourself as a Baltimore Ravens fan. What option does he have to throw to until this year?
They have wide receivers.
They have a tight end.
He doesn't throw it.
Who? Name him.
Stop, Mike. He
Harry,
doesn't
Nate,
throw. He
please.
doesn't want to throw the football.
Harry,
He
it's the
sees
same
one
exact
read.
thing
You know
that
what the
Justin
problem with
Fields
it is?
had
You're going
this
to get me.
last
You're going to
year.
get me fired up, Mike.
All
Go
right.
ahead,
Lamar
get fired up.
Jackson
That's what
can't
this
read a
show is for.
defense.
That's what this show is for.
That's
Peter,
it.
Am I
Yes.
not? Am I wrong?
So you're
Absolutely.
saying that every
Fired up,
single
Harry.
down, nobody's open?
I'm just saying he hasn't been given
How
the
do you throw to a guy who cannot catch the football? This
Or
is the
get open.
Chicago Bears last season.
Right.
Cole Kmet found out week 8 he could finally catch a fucking football.
That's twice.
Sorry, my bad. Sorry, Peter.
I'll take $10. Sell it to me now.
I'll Venmo you, Peter. I'm sorry.
Now,
Cole Kmet
$10.
Cole Kmet took till week 8 that he found out he could actually use his hands to catch a football.
Let me ask you a question. Are you finally sold on Cole Kmet? That's
no,
what
I still hate his guts and everything he stands for.
I know you do.
All right. So
I
Fat Mike.
wouldn't care if that guy was tossed in front of a moving train.
Easy. All right. We're going back to Lamar Jackson here. Do you think it's collusion by the owners because they don't want to pay that guaranteed money to Jackson? And is that fair to do that to him? Because again, that contract is out there from Deshaun Watson. You got guaranteed money.
Right.
Lamar's asking for the same type of deal or more. He's done more in his career than Watson. So what's the big?
Who's done more than Watson?
Lamar Jackson.
He's a former.
That's because he played. That's because he's played more games. Let me tell you something right now, and I think Mike. Listen, I'm going to give. I will give Lamar Jackson. I will give Lamar Jackson his credit. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
He does not have the same skill set.
He has a different skill set.
Yeah, he's a running quarterback that could possibly pass.
And everybody's talking
Deshaun
about
Watson is a combination of both.
No, Lamar Jackson can throw the ball. He can. He just
he can throw the ball further than anybody in football. It's getting it to the receiver correctly is the problem.
But it's also the receivers have to get open and they have to catch the ball consistently, my friend. That's what it's all about. And at the end of the day, people talking about Lamar Jackson being a hurt risk. You got Deshaun Watson, who's coming off two knee injuries. I mean, come on, man. I'm just saying. All right.
That's why I can.
Ready? I'm playing stats. Stats.
Okay.
Right?
I don't know why.
What happened, Mike?
It froze up too.
Mike, you froze up, buddy.
Am I still there?
Yeah,
you're there, but you froze up.
Am I there?
Yeah, you're there.
Here, go ahead.
Okay. Lamar Jackson, 70 games, a record of 100 touchdowns to 38 receptions.
I think we're losing you here.
I can't hear him very well.
Yeah, I want to take him out. We'll come back here. We'll get maybe he'll call back or something because we're losing him.
Mike, we lost you, bro.
Yeah, we lost.
It was frozen really bad.
Frozen. Yep. All right. Let's see here. So we talked about that one. Let's go back into these comments. Justin Fields is not a grown-up. He's a teenie. I think we got Mike back. Mike, do we have you back? We got you back, Mike?
Yeah, I'm back.
Okay. All right. So what are the statistics
Lamar Jackson
there?
has played more games. Lamar Jackson has better numbers.
Okay. Right.
Because every time I pull him up, it fades. But Lamar Jackson is the better quarterback than Deshaun Watson. But you can't forget that Deshaun Watson was cut off a year for getting tuggers.
Well, and that's the thing for me. Here's a quarterback that's been able to stay out of the limelight and keep clean and be accountable. And the team is not going to pay him. Instead, they pay Roquan Smith $100 million, but then they'll pay the guy that's been their supposed franchise quarterback. That's my problem with it. And then you've got teams out there who desperately need a young quarterback, and they would rather go with somebody who's not proven because the contract is cheaper or because they're all colluding together instead of give the man his money. That's been my point from the very get-go.
Statistics.
I like Lamar Jackson, but when Lamar Jackson finishes the season, I'll be full blown in on him. That's for sure.
All right. Fat Mike, go ahead and promote yourself here on the evolution of Sports Talk Television.
I'm Fat Mike.
Okay, that's good. All right, man. All right. See you, Fat Mike. Later. All right. Good stuff, man.
That's my boy.
Let me get him on. One more time before you get out of here. I got to play this. I got to do this. Hold on. Ready? All right, he's done. Get out of here, Fat Mike. Good stuff there. Jeez. You guys got me fired up. I mean, but come on, Roger. Come on, man. Saying that I'm riding this guy. Come on. That's not fair. That's not fair at all. That's not fair to say that.
I thought it was hilarious.
Well, of course you did. Of course you did. You thought it was hilarious. Absolutely. Of course you did.
Hey, you got to get some thicker skin there, Petey.
I'm thick. I'm just saying, he's saying, stuff like that and leaving out the part of where basically I've said from the very get-go that he has problems off the field. I have been consistent with this. You know this. I was consistent about Ray Rice. I was consistent about Ben Roethlisberger. I've been consistent about Watson. I've been consistent about
players. I think because we're in the media, though, honestly, I think we jump to conclusions too quick because
maybe
it's a great story. And I'm humbly saying that. And sometimes I get caught up with it, but then I have to catch myself and say, hey, don't believe everything you hear. Listen, if you sat there and listened to all the prognosticators out there, you're going to get 10 different opinions.
Hold on a sec. Fat Mike wants to come back on again. What do you want?
I just wanted to say, Harry, do you have the controls to play the music?
No, I wish.
Oh, because Peter just said he was thick.
Okay, I'm done. I'm done with.
Bye, Mike. Bye,
bye, Mike.
Bye, Mike.
There you go. All right, good stuff.
Oh yeah.
Don't start that crap.
I'm not going to say it, but it's all about family, right, Mike?
I bet it is. All right.
5'6" with a.
Okay, enough. All right. Let's see here. Troy, hit the damn like button. That's the least you can do. Mike says, from what I hear from my Viking buddy, that Minnesota plans to trade away Dalvin Cook. But in my opinion, if they do that, it's going to give Chicago a chance to win the NFC North. We heard that yesterday. True. There's a trade offer out there. I mean, good trade by the Minnesota Vikings. I get it. Running backs are a dime a dozen. You can get them in the later rounds. But Dalvin
aren't we also talking about Adam Thielen being bye-bye?
Right. But Dalvin Cook is a special running back. The problem
might be a Chicago Bear.
He's never able to stay healthy. I doubt it. I don't think the Vikings would trade him to the Bears.
The Bears have too much draft capital.
Yeah, David Montgomery looks like he's going to be gone. Talk was he's going to be gone from Chicago, Kansas City with Matt Nagy. That's right. So we'll see what they do with the running backs.
God, that's going to be dangerous. Can you imagine him in that offense?
Would you go and get Leonard Fournette?
I think the Bears wouldn't have a problem getting Leonard Fournette, but in my opinion, they have Khalil Herbert. I don't think you really want to pick up that kind of. The only reason why I'd bring in Leonard Fournette, first off, I believe he has a lot still left in the tank. And a team that loves to run the football like the Chicago Bears, I think he would flourish. And I think they can get him on the cheap. So, yeah, with that being said, I take Leonard Fournette in a heartbeat.
Okay. All right. And there's some other running backs out there. We got to get to it. Let's see here. Okay. After the Bears says Christopher Cole, let's get Lamar.
That wasn't really nice.
Oh, yeah.
That wasn't nice by Russ, but Russ is a big time Bucs fan. I agree with Harry 100%. What's going on, Christopher Cole? Hey, everyone.
What's up, Chris?
Blazers have actually made smart decisions in the past 5 years, more so than Daniel Snyder and Jerry Jones. Meanwhile, it's been over 25 years since Snyder and Jones have hoisted a Lombardi trophy. Good comment.
Oh, yeah.
Good comment, Mike.
Yep. Dave says, Harry, I'm with you. I love Malcolm Glazer, but I hate his kids. I think the kids have tried. I do. And I think, again, they tried to cut back, cut money and everything like that. And then they went in. And again, there's been some lean years there where they didn't necessarily spend money because they couldn't. But everybody goes through the salary cap difficulties. But it's not the end of the world. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, oh, you go back, they go through salary cap. Like, they're not going to, go bankrupt, okay? They got plenty of money. There's plenty of money there at One Buck Place. Bucks are a tax write-off for the Glazers. They still care about them. You could probably say that about your team, Roger Shue. Look at Jerry Jones. Steve says, love the show, Peter and Harry. Banter, priceless. Thank you.
Who was that?
Appreciate you, Steve, right there. Steve, good stuff.
Yeah.
Appreciate you. Roger Shue says, first induction in the WWE Hall of Fame is Rey Mysterio. Like, okay. Hansy could play right tackle. There's another good comment.
I don't know. I don't know if he could play right tackle that well, though.
Well, he could play right. He possibly, here's the thing with Shaq Mason. Let's say the Bucs decide to cut somebody, possibly Shaq Mason. Then you play Hansy there at right guard. That's certainly a possibility where you save money. I still would like to hold on to Mason.
Listen,
it's been talked.
The ideal situation for the Buccaneers is to get themselves a left tackle. That would be ideal. Get it through free agency, get a nice left tackle, and then through the draft, go ahead and build the rest of your offensive line.
Okay. All right.
Because if you're solid on the corners, your middle's going to get strong.
I still think Tristan Wirfs goes to left. I'll bet you a plate of wings on that.
Oh, God. I can't even get you to buy the steak you keep.
Whatever. We're going to go double or nothing on the steak because I'm tired of you talking about it, okay? I'll buy you a steak. You buy me a steak. But I'm telling you right now, Anthony Richardson is going top 10.
Peter, I don't go to Sizzler.
I ain't going to Sizzler. We'll do Ruth Chris. You want to do Ruth Chris? Or I never been to Burns. I never been to Burns. You want to take me to Burns?
Last time I was at Burns, I could tell you a very good story about Warren Sapp, and I just can't do it on air.
Okay. Well, I think I've heard that story off air before. So let's
unreal.
Trade Devin White could be an option if they re-sign David. For me, I think they're going to re-sign David. They're going to still see what Devin White.
You really think they're going to re-sign him?
Yes, I do. But again, that was the other big story yesterday for me and Rappaport.
They need him on this team.
He's going to test free agency. This from Levante David's agent and care of the Tampa Bay Times, Ron Butler. Yes, he will test free agency. The Bucs do want him back. He played at a very high level last season, only missing 1 snap in 17 games. Let's see how it all plays out. We're talking about David. He had a solid year as a pro, 124 tackles, 3 sacks, while starting every game in 2022. So you could talk about his age at the end of the day, but I still think he's an integral part of this defense. He definitely helps out Devin White because Devin White is a different player. And then furthermore, he's not only a fan favorite, but he's an all-time Buccaneer, so you don't want to see him go to a team like, say, the Raiders, like the Buffalo Bills, somebody like that, right?
Yeah, it would be really bad to see, Levante go to another team because he should retire a Buccaneer. That would almost be. I'm not putting him in the same category as a Brian Urlacher, okay? But it's almost the same thing. I mean, you really don't want your best defensive player in how many years leave? I mean,
yeah, it's not a good look.
Horrible.
Yeah,
and I honestly think that he is using this as leverage to get as much money as he possibly can. But if he is truly thankful for this organization for giving him the opportunity that he was given by being drafted, getting his contracts, winning a Super Bowl. Look, man, you've already made your money not only through your work and hard efforts, but you've also made your money via your endorsements and things of that nature that you've already made. Sure. Maybe you could give the home team a small discount just so that you could finish your career here. But the business side of my mind is saying, why? The Glazers don't give 2 dicks about my money. So, I mean, I'd want to get it. But then again, that's me on both sides of the coin. I'd love to see Levante David retire here.
Yeah, I mean, again, I think it's certainly a possibility he will retire. You're exactly right. I think the Bucs are basically sending him out there to look at the market, see what he can get, and then possibly.
No, he requested that. I told you that on the show about a week ago.
You did. And David goes out there, searches for something. The Bucs feel like it's a manageable situation where they want to match it or, not get as much money, but you'll come in a different direction with incentives or something along those lines and how to work it. Right. And I think it'll be a Tampa Bay Buccaneer. There's a lot of fans out there that were upset. It's the way of the business, right? I mean, because, Bucs fans have seen Derek Brooks leave. They've seen, John Lynch leave and Warren Sapp.
You know what? Pardon my ignorance. Where did Brooks go to?
Brooks went nowhere. He was
okay. I didn't think he did because
he got cut though, and it was a major cut day. It was a veteran cut day where you had Derek Brooks and Warwick Dunn and Ike Hillard, and basically it was a sign of they were rebuilding at that point, and that's when they hired Raheem Morris and fired John Gruden. Everybody knew this is not that case. I don't think the Bucs are getting rid of everybody, and it's a mass exodus where you're completely tearing it down and rebuilding it.
You're definitely a lot more optimistic about this team now than you were 2 weeks ago, because I wish I could go ahead and bring up some of the tape.
Well,
because seriously, you were like, tear it down. They're going to just do this the whole 9 yards. It's not bad.
No, what I was saying is, and a lot of people were putting it out there, if they're going to go with Kyle Trask, why not tear the whole thing down?
Why? You drafted this guy.
Right. But if you want to tank for a quarterback next year,
then you tear it all the way down.
That's my point. That was what I was saying. And that's what I was hearing. Well, they're gonna tank and they're not gonna, but it doesn't seem like they're tanking. And I still think they're gonna pick up a vet option. I would prefer, I would prefer, but I don't know if that's gonna happen or not. I think it's a mistake. But again, I do trust this organization. And I've kind of seen Kyle Trask and looked at some of his tape and said, you know what? Maybe they give him a chance. Maybe they give him a chance to compete. They bring in a veteran. He can't beat out the veteran. Then you know he's not the guy. But if he can beat out the veteran and he's going to be the number one guy, who knows at the end of the day?
The bottom line is this.
I've been through enough young quarterbacks.
They either make the splash, Peter.
Uh-huh.
Okay. They either make the splash and they go out and get a Lamar Jackson, or they just get a mediocre mid-tier quarterback to below tier, like an Andy Dalton or someone like that. Someone because I don't think they're going to go out and get Jimmy Garoppolo, because if they were going to do that, Peter, they would go out and get Lamar.
And see, I would rather have Lamar than Jimmy Garoppolo.
And I would too,
right?
Personally. But the bottom line is this: they don't have the money to spend, unfortunately. And my personal belief is this: whatever other quarterback other than the two that we've just mentioned come in here, they have zero chance of beating out Kyle Trask, because they have to give this kid a chance. They drafted him.
Well, they have to give him a chance. They're going to definitely have to give him a chance, and you're exactly right.
And I'm telling you, I'm excited to see it, Pete.
I hope it happens.
I'm excited to see this team run the football. I'm excited to see what Canales is going to go ahead and bring to this organization. I mean, I am so optimistic. I'm more optimistic about this season than I was last season, because they're getting their cap situation fixed. And I know that Jason Light's going to go ahead and fix that offensive line. And you're going to see exactly how good this team is going to be. They will dominate the NFC South.
All right, let's go on to, wow, that's a strong statement. We're going to definitely have to have that. Nolan Smith will go in the top 10. F. Rogers, F. Green Bay, Troy again, how Panama wins the World Baseball Classic. America sucks. I don't know what Troy's saying.
This guy sucks.
Troy, you're getting banned. You don't disrespect the country. Isn't it funny that Aaron Rodgers' career path is mimicking the same one as Brett Favre? I mean, that's a great point. Who would have thought that, right? I mean, he goes from the Packers to the Jets just like Brett Favre. And there's a story here, right, Bucs fans? Because we all know I was at the radio station at the time at 10:10 a.m., and it was a certainty that John Gruden had a deal with Brett Favre, that Brett Favre was going to be the starting quarterback that year. And, of course, they had Jeff Garcia at the time, who they also got in free agency, and he led them to the playoffs. But Gruden thought he had a deal with Brett Favre. And then at the 12th hour, the Jets swooped in. They gave him the pick that the Packers wanted. Of course, I think what played into it, the Packers did not want to trade him to an NFC team so he could hurt him. Brett Favre ends up going to the Jets and then eventually
Did you know behind the scenes that Chicago Bears offered them more to the Green Bay Packers than both the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the New York Jets did? But they would not let him go to an NFC North rival team. They wanted to put him in the AFC so bad.
I swear, and I remember getting out of the radio station at midnight, about to drive home, thinking that, Brett Favre, the deal would be done. It was never done. And then before I got home, it gets announced on Fox Sports that the New York Jets made the offer. They traded for Brett Favre, and you were with Jeff Garcia at that point.
What a lot of fun that team would have been with Brett Favre. Could you imagine the Buccaneers with Brett Favre and that gunslinging mentality here in the warm weather? Oh, my God.
With John Gruden, I tell you what, he could be definitely an X's and O's guy. I mean, I don't think he's
Could you imagine Brett Favre and John Gruden walking into a bar drunk? Are you kidding me? I mean, those two would be in jail every night.
That probably would be. It would probably be an incident where Josh Freeman was with Raheem Morris. Raheem Morris was caught drinking with him. A lot of people were saying, why is Josh Freeman partying so much? Well, he's partying with the coach. That's why the coach got fired, and that's why the kid didn't necessarily work out, among other things that we're not going to get into. But let's go out to Anwar. What's good, guys? What's going on, buddy? Let's go out to Christopher Cole. DJ Moore killed us. He absolutely did. So once again, he's out of the NFC South, now a member of the Chicago Bears. Harry's team right there. Do these moves by New Orleans, the Panthers changes any of your minds about the division next year? No. I think it's a great point. We'll get back to that in a moment. I think the Saints right now have the better quarterback out of everybody. The division is getting better. I still think the Bucs can be in it. Let's go out to Tampa Bay. Ray Kennedy here. Welcome to the Evolution. You're on with yours truly, along with Harry, the Greek professional handicapper extraordinaire. What do you think about these moves today that happened with your Tampa Bay Buccaneers? Welcome.
Hey, bro. you know what? The Vita Vea, you could restructure his over and over and over again, just like Mike Evans. Just those are automatics, and those are classy kids and classy guys, and what they mean to this team. But man, the big thing for me though is I can't help but talk about it is the Panthers going after one. Even the Falcons, some people in the NFL media, prognosticate that Ritter coming out of Cincinnati after 17 years he was there, isn't maybe the guy in Atlanta. And of course, you got Derek Carr now in New Orleans, and all of a sudden, I was thinking just the other day, 3 years ago when Tom Brady came here, it was Drew Brees, it was Matt Ryan, it was Tom Brady, and then maybe Cam Newton was trying to get it going again, and I forget, and all of a sudden it all went away, and then it turns around, and all of a sudden the NFC South is going to be the young quarterback division. Except for Derek Carr and the veteran the Bucs bring in, and that's what I want to talk about. Who do you still see on the horizon for the Bucs to bring in here for this 2023 season?
I don't know. I have no idea at this point. Again, their salary cap situation.
Better bring in a left tackle.
What are they willing? They got a left tackle. It's Tristan Wirfs. They're gonna go with that. They're gonna draft the right tackle or go with Luke Gedeke. I keep on telling you, you're gonna owe me that plate of wings. By the way, Harry, keep on going.
Peter,
yes.
Ray, did you keep hearing this? Will you please tell the world how many plates of wings and steaks that both you and him owe me?
I don't listen. I haven't had a steak yet from you, but I'm gonna get
Harry.
that when Anthony Richardson gets drafted.
You're a Bears guy, 1252 Sports. I saw Fat Mike on earlier. I wasn't listening because I was getting my ass handed to me at the UPS hub, but I'm sure there was a bunch of F-bombs that you had to get out of here.
Actually, Peter's cursed too tonight.
I cursed a little bit tonight, yes, because I had a caller that said I was riding somebody's jock, and I was not riding anybody's jock when it came to
and then Ray, I actually said, I think the caller's right. You actually dropped his pants and were hugging his nuts.
Wait a minute, are we talking about Blake Anthony here? What are we talking
about? No. We're talking about Antonio Brown.
Come on now. I tell you what, you want to know who I want to see at left tackle for these Buccaneers? Jerome Brown Jr. Not Jerome Brown Jr., but the Orlando Brown. Orlando Brown, is it?
Yes.
Harry, the Bears shot their load. They made the trade. The Carolina Panthers had to get it free agency still 5 days away with the new year, or tampering period starts Sunday at midnight. Bears fans, are they a little down, or they wish it would have held on a little longer, or are you guys totally satisfied with the haul?
I got to be honest with you. At first I wasn't satisfied, but the more I'm starting to think about it, when you're getting a DJ Moore and you're picking up this year and next year's first rounder and second rounder the following year, I think they did extremely well. Plus the second round pick that they're picking up this year from them. But again, you and I have had some pretty in-depth conversations regarding this. I think if they would have sat, I think they could have dropped back to number 4, picked up a player with Indianapolis like a DeForest Buckner, and picked up a first rounder and maybe a second or a third rounder the following year, and then traded back to Carolina to get DJ Moore. But I don't think they were willing. I don't think that they were willing to give up all of that. But I think that was on the table. They had their eyes on DJ Moore, and I think it really solidifies the wide receiver core for that team.
Absolutely. Again, you add DJ Moore, who's a legitimate number 1 wide receiver. You look
Chase Claypool, and then you have Darnell Mooney, and then Keel Harry. It helps.
Here's his numbers right here with DJ Moore: 364, 5,221 touchdowns in 2 years for the Carolina Panthers, and that is without a legitimate quarterback, ladies and gentlemen. You had Sam Darnold, Baker Mayfield. Oof. Who else did you have there that was any good? And still, this kid is being productive. So
does that mean the Bears are not pursuing Chris Godwin anymore? Or can we take that?
No, there was never any pursuing of Chris Godwin that was thrown out there, and it couldn't happen anyway because I explained it. It would be an over $23 million cap hit. The Bucs are just not going to do that. And plus, it doesn't make any sense to get rid of 2 of your biggest weapons in an Evans and a Godwin if you truly want to go with Kyle Trask as the starting quarterback of this team. It makes no sense.
But think about it, guys. The veteran out there, the Bucs have. Is it a Baker Mayfield? The Rams, are they in such this?
This is what's being thrown around right now.
I'd love to see Baker Mayfield.
I'm going to tell you right now, there is a real possibility that Matt Stafford could get traded to somebody, and and Sean McVay could just go with Baker Mayfield as the future quarterback. That's being talked about right now.
Peter, you do remember it was the 3 of us on the over-under when we were talking about it.
Yeah,
I said, because if you remember when we were giving picks out,
Yep.
And everybody was laughing at me. I says, Baker Mayfield wins his first game as a Ram.
Yeah.
And I said, and after the game, I said, he didn't look pretty, but he looked comfortable, and he's auditioning here. And ladies and gentlemen, you just might be looking at the future of the Rams. And people looked at me like I had three heads.
Well, because they looked and they saw what kind of disaster he was in Cleveland, but he couldn't stay healthy. That wasn't his fault.
That was Cleveland's fault, man.
Right.
When he got hurt, they kept pushing him out there. Ray, you even said that he shouldn't have been playing.
It's also about coaching, guys. Sean McVay is like a quarterback whisperer in the National Football League with taking quarterbacks and making a system that is quarterback friendly. And that's what you saw with Baker Mayfield. Go ahead, Ray.
If this was a year ago, the same Buccaneer team we had a year ago, coming off of the divisional round loss, but going into 2022 and Tom Brady's not back, but it was the same free agency, same thing happens today. Panthers trade for that first pick, and all of a sudden the South has become a quarterback division. If we weren't in the cap, I'm not going back to last year, meaning we're not 51 million still over the cap or whatever we are now with Vita Vea's renegotiation. If Bruce Arians was still your head coach, then I'd be waiting for the announcement that Aaron Rodgers is becoming a Buccaneer. And that's the way that cookie would have crumbled. If not in the cap's danger and Arians is still your head coach, do you doubt that Jason Light would not go after an Aaron Rodgers just to make that splash?
And that's what I'm saying right now. Like, you went after Tom Brady. I get it. You're trying to pay the bills, but I still think you have some money that you can move around there at the end of the day. Let me ask you, Lamar Jackson has been talked about on this show. I say you go after him. There's reports out there. The reason why teams won't pursue is because they don't want to do the Ravens' dirty work, because even if you put a contract together and you give them the 2 first-round picks, the Ravens have first right of refusal. They have 5 days to match, which they could do that. But I feel like, look, if you make the contract so that the Ravens can't match it and you give them the guaranteed money, they're going to take those 2 first-round picks. So let me ask you this, Ray. Why wouldn't the Tampa Bay Buccaneers go after Lamar Jackson, the 26-year-old franchise quarterback?
Let me tell you something. We wouldn't run a stubborn-ass offense like the Ravens did, getting Lamar hurt every year where they're basically relying on their tight ends. We'd still have a defense behind him, and we have the offensive weapons that a Lamar Jackson could not only use his legs to, be smart and pick up these first downs to keep it running, but then use his arm to tear defenses apart. That would be phenomenal. But again, a lot of work on that cap, Pete. A lot of work.
Well, and again, you got to work on the cap, but I would give up the 2 first-round picks, because I think if you have confidence at the end of the day, and this could be your quarterback of the future for the next 10 years, instead of saying, I get it, I know you drafted him in the second round, but he's thrown 9 passes. And if it doesn't work out, then basically you're looking for another quarterback next year and you have no idea, instead of just alleviating all that nonsense, because we've been through it, all of us together, and watching this team for so many years. Why not get a certain thing, a known commodity? And that's what I continue to go with Jackson. But I don't know if it's going to happen. We'll see. We'll see how it plays out. Free agency starts on Wednesday at 4:00. Give me some final thoughts here, Tampa Bay Ray.
No, just leave it to the NFC South. They're going to turn this division around like the NFC least did in 3 years, and it started with Ron Rivera's defense. They're going to have these quarterbacks. They're still going to be young next year. So even if you have a Kyle Trask as your starter with David Canales and Cavales and what they're going to be doing here in Tampa Bay, you're going against a team that's going to have a rookie in C.J. Stroud, I believe, in there in Carolina. And Derek Carr, you're going to still have that defense, that Dennis Allen defense. But Derek Carr, even though I think that kid's 100% a gamer, that offense, Mike Thomas, I don't know what's going on there in New Orleans in the Big Easy. And I still like the Atlanta Falcons.
Can't stay healthy in the Atlanta Falcons. I don't know what the Atlanta Falcons are doing. Desmond Ridder, to me, I don't know if he's a starter in this league. I get it. They like him. They like him out of Cincinnati. They like him much more than Lamar Jackson. To me, that would be the perfect place
it's
for
the collusion
Jackson.
thing, though, Pete. I know you said last thought, but come on. All 5 teams within 30 minutes of the announcement, or the franchise, all of them come out. And if not, you talk about collusion, and I guess we like it. We're gonna take whatever Roger Goodell. We can't legalize gambling. It's not good. Wait, it is good. We're sleeping together now. Oh, we're married. Okay, and now it's like illusion and teams. He works for 32 billionaires. They're going to continue to do what's best for the Shield. And when it comes to these guaranteed contracts, maybe it was too much too fast. But that's at Haslam's price there in
it's
Cleveland.
Out. Right. I mean, just because the idiot owner in Cleveland. By the way, would you like to have him as an owner? I mean, having that strange signing with the guaranteed money, but it's already out there. If it's already out there, there's nothing you can do about it. And as always, we completely kind of agree here, Tampa Bay, Ray Kennedy. Thanks a lot,
Yeah, brother.
as always,
Thanks,
for calling
Pete.
in.
Hey, Harry.
Yes.
I'll tell you guys, I'm Cup of Ray on Sunday. I hope maybe one or both of you can join me, and we'll dig into this a little deeper. I'll peel the onions back on this.
Well, and I tell you right now, there may be some breaking news here in the next couple of days with some more restructures and everything like that. We'll get you the update on what's going on with the Buccaneers situation. All right, my friend?
All right, brothers. Talk to you guys later.
All right, give me the Ric Flair right there. Good stuff by Tampa Bay, Ray Kennedy. Best of the Bay. I'm your host, Peter Blake, along with professional handicapper extraordinaire, Mr. Harry the Greek. What's the over-under right now for the first-round pick? Because it was Bryce Young. Is it now C.J. Stroud? Can you go ahead and give me some
I don't know. I don't know those proposition bets, but it's probably going to be C.J. Stroud.
Yeah, that's what it's looking like right now. It's C.J. Stroud. All right. Again, open phone lines. If you want to talk about your Tampa Bay Buccaneers and what they've done today, which will go ahead and reset it. According to Greg Allman of Fox Sports, the Bucs have created room, $44 million of it. They still have some work to do. They're still not yet to cap compliance, but according to Pewter Report, with Leonard Fournette and Cam Brate, they should be in compliance. Now they have to free up some money in order to sign their own free agents, whether it's Levante David, Jamel Dean, or somebody else. All right, so let's see here. Let's keep on. Yes, read the comments. Read the comments. Go to YouTube chats if you want to. Tell you what, we won't read the comments. We'll go out to the phone line. Steve, welcome back to the Evolution. You're on with yours truly, along with Harry the Greek, professional handicapper extraordinaire, 1252 Chicago Sports. Go.
So, I know we're talking about the cap. So.
Yes.
But, okay, so if we released Russell Gage inside Adam Thielen, is that do you think they save money?
Yeah, I don't know if they're going to do that. I think that, yeah.
Just added a slow white guy to the team.
Well, no, just stop it. He's a good wide receiver, but he's going to
excellent hands. But seriously, man, they've got great hands. They need speed.
Yeah, they need some speed on this team.
Yeah,
I think Russell Gage is. I think Russell Gage is more likely to be cut or restructured, and they may just keep him. You know, they may keep all these three wide receivers together and see what happens. And I think the more weapons you have around a Trask, because that's the only guy on this team right now, the better off you're going to be. The better off of a situation you're going to put him in. You don't want to put him in a bad situation. I definitely don't want to give him rookie wide receivers who can't necessarily run routes, and that's the toughest transition with wide receivers coming out. So Thielen I like. I think there's going to be a market for him with him being cut. I definitely see them keeping Gage here. So
is Scotty gone then? Is Scooter gone?
I think Scotty's gone, and he's a free agent. He hasn't done much. He's been inconsistent. I think he's done at this point. So,
all right. Well, yeah, that was my question. I didn't know if that was a good idea.
Is he done though, Peter?
I think he's done with the Bucs. He may get another opportunity. I don't think they're going to sign him. I don't see it. I mean, they could sign him to a small deal, but I think he's going to go somewhere else. I think they're ready to reset on that. He just didn't work out. Didn't catch the ball consistently enough. He has speed.
I'm not a pro,
right?
Like I'm definitely not a pro evaluator, but like Scotty seems like straight line kind of guy, not like a route runner. His route tree doesn't seem that big. I like Scotty.
Very accurate. Very accurate, Stevie. All right, Stevie, we got to run here. We got other calls, man. I appreciate the call.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks a lot. Appreciate you. Let's go out to Ed from Palm Harbor. Ed, welcome to the Evolution. You're on with yours truly, along with Harry the Greek, professional handicapper extraordinaire. Go.
Hey, guys.
What's going on?
Is there any possibility you think that Matthew Stafford would end up as a Buck?
Great question.
That is a great question. Harry, you want to take it?
Let me tell you something. You'd love to have a Matthew Stafford down here in the state of Florida.
Even over a Kyle Trask?
Oh, yeah. Don't be a smart ass, Pete. Of course you would. Matthew Stafford's still a premier quarterback in the National Football League. But I will tell you this. It's also living in a pipe dream because they just can't afford him. That's the problem.
Well, right now they can't afford him because of the way the cap is. But we'll see how this cap works out and see if they can restructure some deals. But right now,
can you imagine that arm?
Wow. I mean, if he's healthy, yes, definitely.
Oh,
definitely.
How you doing, Ed?
What's up, Ed?
Good. How's it going? Hey, I was trying to find you the other day at Tire Plus, man. What happened? You don't work there no more?
I gotta go.
Huh? No, he was on. No. He was on. He's on a little vacation. That's all, Ed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Did you go to the right Tires Plus?
Yeah, he was working at Tyrone's store last I knew.
Yeah, I mean, it's on a little vacation here for a little week. So,
okay.
Yeah. So, Ed, what else?
That's basically about it. I think the trade that the Panthers made really benefited. I don't know if it really benefited the Panthers that much, but it definitely helped the Bears out from my point of view.
I mean, you gotta be happy about it, Harry. I mean, you get a number 1 wide receiver, you get 2 first-round picks, you get a second-round pick. I know there's a lot of Bears fans out there that wanted to trade to number 2 or number 4, but I mean, if they're going to give you that much, and still there's an opportunity there, if there's a quarterback on the board that you could trade out, I think the Bears did well. What do you think, Harry?
As I talked about it earlier, the Chicago Bears did very, very well. The only thing they could have did better is if they would have traded back to number 4, picked up a player like DeForest Buckner, picked up an extra draft pick, and then traded back to Carolina. But at that point, they wouldn't have ended up getting,
DJ Moore.
And
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you, I'd rather have DJ Moore. He's younger. He's a very talented wide receiver, and I just think this draft is just full of
talent,
players and
Yep.
talent that they're going to be able to get. That's
Ed,
a great call, Ed. Thank you for calling in.
appreciate the call, my friend.
Oh,
yeah. All right, good stuff there. Use that second call if you want to. Harry, I know you got to get out of here. Thanks a lot for your time tonight, my friend. Go ahead and promote yourself here on the Evolution.
You can catch me here Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays live.
Yes.
On the over-under on the Sports Web, right here with Peter Blake on the Sports Web, just like I said. Or coming to a theater near you, only kidding. Back to 1252 Sports. We're going to be running our gambling shows over there. Peter, thank you so much for having me on. I think the Bears did a wonderful job with getting all the draft capital and DJ Moore. And I'll tell you what, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are looking solid with getting that cap space. They're going to get it right. Trust in Jason Light, not the Glazers. And as I always say, keep your bets low and your returns high. And if I pissed you off, Peter, I did my job.
Good stuff. Harry the Greek right there, professional handicapper extraordinaire.
Don't forget to hug him really tight, Petey.
You shut up and be quiet. Get out of here right there. All right, we'll read the rest of these comments, and then we will get off for the night here, an early edition of the Sports Web. Let's see here. Read the comments. Once again, go ahead and give the YouTube chats or Facebook stars if you like the content. Troy, there you go. Non-football, Jay Morant's suspension blew up. Absolutely. I mean, there's another athlete, superstar. What's the priority? Well, the priority is to what? Have a gun. The priority is to beat the hell out of somebody who's 17 years old over a pickup basketball game. That's what I'm talking about, the mentality. The mentality. Why put yourself in that situation, right? I mean, that's been my whole point with Jalen Carter. People, oh, you're a hypocrite. No, I've been very consistent about this. Very consistent. Like, yes, a player can help you win. Yes, a player has talent. Absolutely, of course. Yes. But there also has to be some other things that you have to factor into it, especially if you're going to give that young man that much money, especially if you're going to make him a part of your team, especially if you're going to make him a part of your locker room, especially if you're going to make him a part of your community. And it goes back to accountability for me, right? Like, if I can't depend on somebody off the field, how can I depend on them on the field, right? Because we know that football is about accountability. And if you don't do your job, then it blows up into your face. Good stuff, Adam. Thanks a lot. You hung up on me. I didn't hang up on you. You hung up on me. I didn't hear you. Call back if you want to. National Felon League, says Troy. I've been a Bucs fan since 2015. Well, welcome aboard. Let's go on to Christopher Cole. Carter isn't getting past 15. Most likely he's not. But I think there's teams out there, again, that are saying, where was this guy's head at? Why was he leaving the scene of the crime? Why was he lying to authorities? You can sit there and tell me he's young all day long, but these are some serious charges, right? That's my thing. You can criticize me all you want to, but I think if a team is, willing to make that financial commitment, that a player should be able to make the commitment to the team and everything else that I talked about tonight. The same. All right, Bears have a better record than the Bucs in 2023. We'll see. We'll definitely see. Lamar Jackson did not like throwing the ball in college either, but you can build an offense around him, Dave. And Dave Canales is able to do that last year with the Geno Smith. He turned in Geno Smith, who's basically a journeyman quarterback, into a guy who's getting a contract extension today. If you want to be a run-based team and have balance, I think it can definitely work out. I would keep open to that. That's what I'm saying. Keep an open mind to that if it's going to happen. We'll know. We don't know. I agree with Fat Mike. Komet sucks. Troy Polamalu, they be hating on Lamar, just like here he be hating on Jalen Hurts.
This guy sucks.
I don't know why you're talking like that. Justin Fields is better than Jalen Hurts. I mean, you say that right now, but there's nothing to say he is. He hasn't done it. Jalen Hurts just came off an MVP type of season. Jalen Hurts just led his team to the Super Bowl. Justin Fields is highly talented, but I got to see it. Does he have the ability to be better than Jalen Hurts? Yes. I think that's the proper thing to say. He's better? Not yet. Not yet. Troy laughing. Roger says, David, go into the Bears. Now you're just spewing nonsense.
This guy sucks.
Levante, David, Devin White are mainstays. Agree, Mike. Good stuff there. David says Derek Brooks went up to New England and only went through OTAs or something and then retired. Yeah, he never played for another team. I mean, but you what you always remember as being a Bucs fan is those mainstays that you're talking about, right? Devin White, Levante David, especially Levante David, right? Who could forget about John Lynch going to the Denver Broncos? Still playing at a high level. What about Warren Sapp? Still playing at somewhat of a high level in a Raider uniform. That's not what you want to see. That's like seeing Mike Evans in another uniform. You don't want to have that. And I get it. It's a business at the end of the day, and you're going to have to pay people that are worth that value. And if he gets more from another team and moves on, salute to him. Because Levante David did everything he could to make this Tampa Bay Buccaneer defense relevant. And he's a Hall of Fame player. And again, if his motivation is to get paid and to win another championship, then salute to him. I hope he doesn't. It would be disappointing. But that's the rules of the sports business. That's how it goes. That's how it definitely goes. Troy says, can you imagine Brett Favre stealing your money? There's a joke there. That's actually a good comment.
How about them Bucs, baby?
Not going to get into that. JCA just tweeted that the Bucs are still $5.6 million over the cap. Yes, they cleared out $44 million. They're not 44 over. They cleared out 44. So they have some work to do. And I, again, would expect them to do that. But to sit here and say that it's a doomsday scenario and the Bucs can't climb out of this, that's ridiculous. That's naive. All right, let's go on to the phone lines. Mr. James, I know you want to talk about your Raiders. Welcome to the evolution of Sports Talk Television.
What's good? What's good?
What's going on, buddy? What are your Raiders going to do here with their quarterback situation? You're calling the Sports Web. I hope you know you're live.
Well, I do now.
Okay.
Good.
All right.
Well, my opinion, I don't know. I mean, I'm kind of glad we're not going out there wasting money on a quarterback out there and waiting to see who's going to come around when – me personally, I don't really care for C.J. Stroud, but I would sure like the other guy,
Anthony Richardson?
Nope. Who's the other quarterback that's projected before him?
Bryce Young.
Bryce Young could be a good fit there.
Well, he may be the number one overall pick. I mean, that's the thing. You don't know right now. Could be Bryce Young, could be C.J. Stroud. Carolina is now on the clock and, of course, trying to trade up at the end of the day. That's what you have to do in order to get one of those quarterbacks. But I believe there will be somebody, Will Levis out of Kentucky. That's certainly a possibility. What I'm curious about, you've been a Raider fan for how long?
25 plus years.
Okay. So tell me, why would you be interested in Aaron Rodgers? Why haven't they been interested? Would you be interested in Aaron Rodgers? And let me throw this out there. Why no interest in Aaron Rodgers? Why are you not interested in the Lamar Jackson?
I think there's a lot of teams out there that are kind of looking for both of those guys. Aaron Rodgers, in my opinion, hey, I'd love to have him there. He's also going close to 40 years old. You know, he's no Tom Brady for that matter. But at the same time, he also carries $60 million to start talking to that man. It's a lot of money.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
A lot of money to devote to one guy when you can probably go in there, spend some of that money you got laying around on some other help out there and go draft yourself a quarterback.
What about a Lamar Jackson? Well, doesn't he seem like he would fit the Raiders? I mean, he's mobile, he's dynamic, he's 26 years old. You wouldn't give up 2 first-round picks for Jackson?
As much as I'd like to say I would, I'm tired of losing all of our draft picks year after year.
Okay.
And nothing happening.
Okay.
We have a Super Bowl team and we let Derek Carr go. Stupid, in my opinion.
Okay.
But hey, I get it's football. You got to move on and move forward. Then hopefully we don't cut the rest of our team before making anything happen.
So you like Derek Carr? You like him a lot? Okay, I get that. All right. So who do you like at number 7? Who's your pick? You go quarterback. You go in a different direction at this point.
Got to go quarterback at this point.
Okay. All right.
Depends on if we decide to get crazy and go after either Jimmy Garoppolo or somebody like that. You know, a lot of people saying Jimmy G can end up there.
Well, he does know. He does know who's the coach.
One thing's for sure.
Yeah,
Tom
McDaniels.
Brady is not going to Vegas.
He's not going to Vegas. He's not going to Miami. And he's definitely not going to San Francisco. That was put out there today because Tua's getting his 5th-year option picked up by the Dolphins. He's the man there. And I don't think Brady's coming back. I think he's done. I think he's going to take a year off. With that being said, what's your outlook? What's your outlook? You shut up. What's your outlook on the Raiders going forward here this year? You feel confident that they can get the right quarterback? Josh McDaniels can get it right, or do you think he'll get fired by the end of the year?
Personally, I hope he gets fired. I've hated him since the second he came in there. I thought he'd be something good. He's just another dumb Patriot coach thinking he can come to another team and do something. Unfortunately, he should go back to being an offensive coordinator and not a head coach.
All right, good
Get
stuff
rid
there.
Of McDaniels.
Strong. Raider James here on the Evolution. What else, my friend?
Have a blessed night.
All right, good stuff there. Let me go ahead and give him the Ric Flair.
By the way, anybody who likes playing Madden 23, I'm the king. Ask your boy Spider over there.
Yeah, I got your king right there. How about that? There's no king out here besides yours truly on this show. You see how that works out? Somebody trying to take a shot and give him the Ric Flair, and then he decides to throw that out there. Thanks a lot, Raider James. Open phone line, 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. You got to love that. So let's go back out to the update here. JCA just tweeted out the Bucs are still 5.6 over the cap, so they have work to do. But they do have players that they can restructure, so not all is lost. Let's go back out to the tribal troll.
Acknowledge me.
Mr. Roger Shue out of Newport Richie. Go ahead. Say what you want to say here on the Sports Web, my friend.
All right, Peter. Like I put in the chat room, in my opinion only, I think the Saints are going to own the NFC South for years to come.
You may be right about that, but Derek Carr could be clearly the best quarterback in this division.
Best quarterback in the division.
Possibly.
Period.
We'll see what Kyle Trask does or whoever the Bucs throw out there. We'll see what the Carolina Panthers do, and we'll see what the Atlanta Falcons. But right now, and football is not played on paper, you would have to say it definitely there's an advantage there with the Saints.
Absolutely.
All right,
I'll
what
say
else?
elite for probably the next 3 years. The Saints own the division.
Okay. All right. What else?
Also, I keep hearing you and Harry talking about steaks and wings and all
Yes.
that. I'm going to throw one out there with my chat that I put in earlier.
Throw it.
About the Bears having a better record than the Bucs in 2023. I'll throw a steak out there.
I don't know. I like the Bears' chances this year more than the Bucs. I'm not going to lie to you. So you know what? I'm going to think about that. I'm going to think about that right now.
You chicken!
I'm gonna think about that, my friend. Appreciate you as always, Roger Shue.
Man, great show as always.
Thank you,
Rampage is on, so
go watch
enjoy
your
your
wrestling.
night.
Get out of here.
I'm watching you and Rampage.
All right, man. I appreciate you as
All
always.
right.
The tribal troll right there, Mr. Roger Shue. Will acknowledge him.
Acknowledge me.
All right, so I'm gonna wrap this show up with reading these comments, unless we get any more phone calls for the night. You put a healthy, strong O-line around either Trask or Jackson, it would pay off big. And that's the point. That's the point. I mean, again, we're going to see what's going to happen here coming up in the next few months. I think it's the next few days who the Bucs select, because I still think the Bucs are going to go after a veteran quarterback to compete with Trask. Is it going to be the name superstar? I don't know. I don't think so. Saints will own the South for years to come. All right. David says, I still think there's a chance that we bring Blaine Gabbert back because everybody keeps saying Kyle has now learned 2 years behind Brady. Well, Blaine had 3 years now, but it's a totally different system. Stafford is too fragile. He'll cost way too much. Meets the door. Bears aren't done. Watch for Henry or Chubb in Chicago. That would be just tremendous. And they're going to have over $100 million to do that. I mean, again, they got the best of both worlds. The Chicago Bears have the number 9 pick. They're going to have a first-round pick next year. There's a possibility that Carolina won't be that good, so maybe another top 10 pick, and they're going to have all kinds of cap to play with. So good stuff there. It's touch and go with wild cards and like Jalen Carter. It's a fair point. Again, and that's been always my point of conjecture, right? Jalen Carter is a talented player, but there's some red flags there, and I would definitely be concerned about it. But again, there's going to be an NFL team that's going to do their due diligence. He's not a bad guy. I just don't understand the decision-making. I get it. He's young. He's got to do better than that. And you can't be like Jay Morant and get yourself in a situation where basically you're a superstar and now you're from the team and there's a possibility where you could be brought up on charges. What's the priority? Do you want to be an NBA superstar or do you want to be in jail at the end of the day? Let me go out to David here. I just asked Harry, but he hasn't answered me. He wanted to know what your thoughts on should the Bears use the first-round pick this year, next year to trade for Lamar Jackson. They would still have their first-round pick next year and all those other picks to help bring in weapons and maybe shore up the offensive line. I'm not going that direction because I think you've invested a lot in a Justin Fields. You gave up those picks. You got a quarterback there. You've seen what he can do. I keep Justin Fields. I think it's a good question. Good question by David as always.
Oh, yeah.
Let's go out to Mike. I hope we bring back Roger Shue. I hope we make Roger Shue eat his words.
Oh, yeah.
I agree with you. Thanks to all the guests tonight. Of course, Harry the Greek, professional handicapper extraordinaire of 1252 Chicago Sports. Fat Mike of 1252 Chicago Sports. We had Tampa Bay Ray on. We took all your calls. Keep us locked in here. Like and follow the Sports Web on YouTube. Like I love St. Pete the Hub and Amped Up Sports because we'll have breaking news anytime it breaks when it comes to free agency moves by your Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Do 3 things for me on this Friday night special edition because I'm hungry and I know that I got some food waiting for me. Bring your passion. Bring your excitement. Just don't bring any nonsense. I'm your host, Peter Blake, your Rolex reporter. What time is it? It's my time. And fans of the Sports Web and Bucs fans, it's your time. Have a great night.